Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com. Are you ready to witness something that you cannot explain?
I'm looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Central, broadcasting live at the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in the big state of California. So Google that and figure it out, because we're in a city where paranormal is just a regular occurrence down here, and that's why we are doing what we're doing. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host. Been doing this particular show going on 7 years, and it's come a long way, and I'm glad you are there now, because things are only going to get better. I'm also the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society. I'm also an investigator. I have a team. I've had that team going on 14 years now, and usually we have the co-host to my right, which is to your left, but for those who were here last week know that he is under the weather and he is not feeling too good, so Alan is missing in action one more week. But in the back dark corners of Paranormal Central, we do have Emerald Bonilla.
Hi, everybody.
So we are going to keep you occupied tonight. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, just like we usually do. We have Danny on the Squatch Report, and we have another person, and Heidi, and so yeah, we got some good stuff going on. So if you are watching us on live stream, we're going to be putting up some photographs, and you will be able to view them here as we go along. If you are listening at artbell.com, you can go to his website on the homepage, Paranormal Central, Squatch Report, Danny, and you can view the pictures there as well. So Mr. Art Bell and Keith are broadcasting us worldwide on the Dark Matter Network around the world. All right, let's go ahead and start this off. And just to let you guys know, I have the flu. Yes, I am sick. Last week when I took care of my son, he gave it to me. And last night it hit me hard, and right now I have a temperature, so that's why I have like liquids around me. I have lemons in case I start coughing. So, and my voice is probably sounding weird. So, all right, we are going to get a hold of Danny, and I think Danny is on. Let me pull up the volume. Danny.
Greetings and salutations.
Where did you go?
I just got back from Oregon.
Did you go pick up your daughter? Is that what you did?
Yeah, we just followed her back. She was going to do a 14-hour drive from the top of Oregon all the way to the valley.
Right.
It's about a 14-hour drive, and she was going to drive it by herself. But we decided to drive up halfway and meet her. But we ended up going more than halfway. We went into Oregon.
Okay.
So we had the boys ride back with her and keep her awake and
that'll work.
Make sure she got back safe.
Cool.
The big storm.
Yeah. Did you guys run into it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was pretty bad around past Sacramento. The rain was going sideways. Looked like we were driving through a sandstorm.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Pretty bad.
Very cool. Okay, at least you guys made it safely back, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, all right, Squatch Report for February the 8th, and we are going to be putting up some photographs. And we don't have that many today for Danny, because Danny just got back, so we're going to let him rest a little bit. So let's go ahead and pull up the pictures, and let me go to the screen, and we have picture number 1, and we have, I believe, Finley's horse, right?
Yep. This was posted yesterday by Thomas Finley, and he's a friend of Paranormal Central. He lives in Hockwell, United Kingdom, and this is a Swedish doll horse. And it looks really familiar to me because I live in Kingsburg, and it's a Swedish town, and those horses are all over town here. So, so hey, I know what that is.
He does. He does.
A tribute.
He does really good work, man.
He does, and this is his tribute to Roger Patterson, Bluff Creek, and it's a 3D wooden horse. It's double-sided, and I have both pictures included on there. He does wood burning.
Right.
So he did this for the Ohio Bigfoot conference that's coming up. It will be on sale there.
So they're not
going to be about 6 inches tall.
They're not going to. Oh, they're going to sell it and not auction it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he does work for everybody out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's constantly sending out either pictures or paintings, drawings, wood carvings, all kinds of stuff. And I believe he sent you something too.
Yeah, and the reason why I haven't showed anybody yet, because I want Alan to be here when we reveal it. But he sent us a painting, and that is going to be placed in our TV show set, right on top of the fireplace. And so everybody in the world eventually could see it. And I didn't want to reveal it as of yet because Alan's not here.
Yep.
So.
And he knows that the pictures are posted on Art Bell's page as well as on your screen right now, and he wants feedback on there. So we're going to let everybody know.
If anybody says anything bad about this, then
it's pretty awesome.
Somebody needs to kick you in the rear.
Looks a lot of time on that one.
Yeah.
But, his email is CaptaineEasyCheese@gmail.com. That's Captain Easy Cheese @gmail.com.
Does he have a website?
I don't know if he does, but he is listening right now.
Oh yeah, and he has a Facebook. He's on Facebook too, you guys.
He's on Facebook, yes.
Absolutely. So Thomas, and spell his last name, because right now I can't think.
Finley.
Okay, and if you want to be friends with him, go for it, because he puts his art on his Facebook wall all the time, and it's some killer stuff. Very killer stuff.
Very imaginative.
Yes, I mean, look at that. Oh man, I want to buy that. Okay, all right. That's very cool. And again, Thomas, we're not wait until Alan gets back, and we're gonna pretty much show everybody the painting you sent us. It's very cool. So, all right, picture number 3. Now, what is this? I'm interested in this.
This is posted by Lance Oliver on the Team Sasquatch Unlimited page, or Team Squatch Unlimited page. This is called a snooper scope. You can get it on Amazon.com. It's a night vision scope, and it's for iPhone, iPad, smartphone, or tablet, whatever you want, even a laptop computer. It's a wireless Wi-Fi on it, so you don't even actually need the iPhone or the iPad or anything. It works by itself, and it has a 4-hour battery on it, and it can take pictures or it can do HD video.
Wow.
So,
I mean, I'm looking at that, and it looks like it's pretty far away, dude. I mean,
yeah, they said you can see within eyesight. I mean, it won't go super far. It's not a military grade one, which run about $1,500. This one, the price is $179.
That's nothing.
So it go as far as you can see, but not super far. But
well, I think I'm going to have to buy this. So send me over the information, and I am going to purchase this because.
So it has an SD slot to record on.
Okay.
Or you can hook it up to your phone and record from on your phone or your computer, laptop. You can also use it for ghost hunting. It has live streaming on it, so you can do it to your phone or your iPod, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But it will work without an internet connection or a router because it has the Wi-Fi on it. It says clear images.
Oh, so you okay. So you have to have. You can't. So can you just have Bluetooth?
I don't know. It should be able to work with Bluetooth with the Wi-Fi, but it says you don't need internet or connect.
Oh, then it's got to be just straight Bluetooth then. Okay.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
It'll work with it or without it, but
right.
You don't need it.
No.
It's not required.
Right. Not
but
if you're
clear images at night and colorful images during the day. So.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna.
It's motion and sound activated, and has a built-in microphone and a speaker.
Wow.
So.
Very cool.
Pretty cool.
Yes, it is. I'm gonna have to look at this in detail. So, all right, very cool. All right, Mister. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
I did something I never do this week.
What?
And argue with people.
Oh man, let's talk about that. Yeah. Matter of fact, I was just talking with Keith from Art Bell, and he wanted to know more information on that. And I pretty much said, Danny, I think was the first one to come out and say what it was, and then I think after that, everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Was that right?
Yeah, I don't know. It might have all been timed perfectly. Everybody was looking at it and saw the same thing. But
okay.
I didn't know about anybody else until after I was saying something about it.
Right.
I went and checked. But you know, the claims on that were that the park was closed.
Right. It wasn't.
This is the four Bigfoot that are alleged four Bigfoot that are seen in Yellowstone Park.
Right.
And people were saying that the park was closed and there's no access in there, and you know, no, it has to be Bigfoot because nobody was there.
I mean, there were some guys, dude, that were totally. I mean, they were just slamming you because it was a Bigfoot, or they were Bigfoots, no doubt
They didn't want
about
to hear
it.
anything else.
Yes.
Other than it being a Bigfoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
when you're like that, you're not really a researcher because you've already decided what it is. You're not willing to get any evidence, and that's pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was following you, trying to give them all the evidence, and
I gave you everything, and they still don't want to look at it.
Right, the evidence was there, dude, and I mean, it was pretty much self-explanatory, but to them, it was Bigfoot. As simple as that.
Yeah.
So.
I gave up saying,
Right.
Okay, live in your own reality.
Right,
But,
right. So.
you know, there's a time-lapse video that they have of the entire day, and it shows hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows them all sitting around the geyser when the geyser's ready to go off, and you can see the part in question is on the video, and
Right.
then you can see people snowshoeing and skiing and cross-country skiing, hiking, doing whatever.
It's all there.
All there.
Yep.
And there's also another scene in there where they're doing the exact same thing that's on the part in question. They're traveling in a single file row around the geysers.
Right.
And there's even a park. Somebody emailed the park, and a park ranger answered the email saying that, can you identify this area? Because they know better than anybody else
Sure.
where the cameras are pointed. So, yes, this is north of the Old Faithful Geyser, and those people are on a boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the north part. That's why they're walking single file.
Yep.
And
that email came way after you pretty much said what they were doing. So it just confirmation from the United States government as far as it's a boardwalk. It's a path of wood, and that's why they weren't sinking into the snow. So.
they didn't want to fall off the boardwalk because they said it's pretty icy.
Right.
And I found out that the videos, the webcams are controlled by the park rangers and their volunteers. So if they see something they like, they zoom in on it and focus on that. And if they see something else, they're constantly moving around. So they're there.
Okay. I thought it was that one lady who actually did the moving.
She just found the video.
Wow.
But I found out that the park rangers are the actual ones controlling and their volunteers are controlling the cameras.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. That
And
makes
then
sense.
I also found, with just a little research, that there was a group hiking, and they hiked about 5 to 6 miles on that very same day in that very same area, and they have pictures. And if you watch the video, when they're hiding behind the tree, the last one is wearing lighter clothing than all the rest of them. Everyone says they're all dressed the same, but the last one, if you look real close, is wearing a lighter clothing. And with this blog that I found, this guy is describing everything that happened their day.
Right.
They hiked 5 to 6 miles, and they're doing just about everything that video shows. The last person is I asked him if they were walking in single file. He hasn't answered yet, but the last person in their group is wearing lighter clothing. They were in that same area, and he has a picture on there of a buffalo that he got closer than he should have. He admitted that. On his page. I probably got closer than I should have, but I took a picture of a buffalo that was just off the trail that we were on. So that could be the picture that I say he was taking when they saw the buffalo out.
Yeah, because he went by himself first, the first guy.
Yeah.
And then okay.
And he did say in his blog that if you got off trail, it was pretty icy, which could explain why he was walking so weird.
So weird. All right. Good job.
It's a ski pole, but
that's
they
right.
said that the park is not accessible by car, but you can get in there skiing, snowshoeing, hiking, or there's a van that where they took the tires off and they put it kind of looks like a
tractor.
I don't know what they're called, but it's like a tractor tires on there, or kind of looks like a tank. The tank tires on there.
Right.
They put those on there, and that's what takes you into the park, or you can get in by snowmobiles. So there are hundreds of people still going in. It's not the thousands that are there during the summer, but
cool.
it's pretty.
There you go.
pretty convincing to me. But
absolutely.
not to
So
others.
pretty much debunked it. So it wasn't for Bigfoot. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's too bad because, we want to find somebody. I don't care who it is. To
I don't
find.
care. I just want the truth.
Yeah, I want the truth. I want the actual. I want a good picture. I want a good video. And I don't care who comes up with it. It doesn't have to be us. It could be somebody else. Because if it is somebody else, then I want to put them on the show and tell everybody about it. So, so there you go.
You have to slowly go through and find out what it's not before you can say what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people are doing that.
Nope. So, and also to the person who, took it apart and said it was Bigfoot. Thinker Thunker has been doing this for several years now, and I've been seeing his videos, and some of them are pretty good, but some of them, it's hard to say. I think he's missing on a couple of them, and I think he missed out on this one.
Yep. Misidentification.
Yep.
That's all it is.
So. All right, Danny. Thank you very much, sir. And
right.
I will talk to you probably this week because I want to tell you what's going on with what happened to us yesterday. So.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on
dude.
right now.
Wow.
It's from the same area.
Yes,
wow.
Absolutely. That's crazy. So, okay. All right. Thank Danny.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. See ya.
Get better.
Me too.
Both you guys, Alan and you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Alan more than me. Mine's just a freaking flu. I can get rid of that, but Alan is in
And Alan, I didn't need to see pictures of that.
Yeah, that everybody was puking after the Alan and all. So yeah, okay. So right now Alan's cracking up probably. So, all right, thanks, Danny. Okay,
all right,
see ya.
See you guys.
Bye. All right, Danny Valderrama, our official Bigfoot Squatch reporter, has been with us for a long time now, and he's also part of the group. He does a great job. He is the type of guy who, if he has a video or a picture of something before he says what it is and comes on the air, he's going to take it apart, just make sure that we all know what it is. So, and that's why he is on our show, because he is a cool guy and a good friend, and he knows what he's doing. So, okay, we have now a friend of mine who lives in Sanger. This guy pretty much got me involved in the UFOs here in Fresno. And I want to go ahead and bring him on, and we're going to talk about everything that Okay, go ahead. Adolf, are you there?
Yes.
How's it going, Adolf?
It's going.
All right, I heard you had a cold.
Yeah, I do. I got a stuffy nose, but
Right.
I'll just,
Just take time. Yeah, just wing it. And because I got the flu, I got over 100 temperature, and I'm not trying to cough on the air, so it stinks. But like I texted you a little while ago, the show must go on. So,
yeah.
So let's tell everybody how we got in contact. And this was, oh my God, Emerald, 7 years ago, 6 years. How long ago? 2006, 2005, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah.
So we were, going around and doing carnivals, school carnivals, and we were setting up shop, and we were showing kids what we do and all that kind of stuff. And what I want to do is I want to show you our setup that we had real quick. And I've showed it before, but we investigate everything, you guys. And as you can see there, I have a research ambulance, and there it is. And we had that set up at John Wash on the blacktop with everybody else. And, people would come by, and they would talk to us, and they're coming by, and they're saying, "Are you serious? Is this real?" Because we had Bigfoot cast out there and Bigfoot pictures, and they were going, "You're smoking the crack, dude." And then one guy came, and he was your brother.
Correct.
And he said, "Dude, you guys need to talk to my brother." And I said, "Really?" And he told me a little bit about you, and I wrote your number down, and I called you. I don't know how soon after that, but during that John Wash school event, we had a lot of visitors there that were in camouflage uniform. Now you guys have to understand, this is an elementary school, not a high school. So they can't recruit people. And Emerald can pretty much verify I counted three soldiers in full camouflage. One was at the entrance of the cafeteria. One was sitting down with some people over at where they were selling tacos or whatever, and the other one was just walking around. And every time I would look at them, and they would look at me, they'd look back down really quick. And their face was not smiling. They were so serious. And I thought to myself, what the heck are these? Now, why would John Wash call the National Guard to come in?
I thought they were at first like parents or something. You know how they wear the
well,
gear?
And you know what?
They were way, because like you said, every time we kind of looked over there, because they were way too serious.
Way too serious. They weren't smiling, laughing.
They weren't even around like really kids.
Right, exactly. They weren't. I didn't see any kids with them, any family. They were by themselves. They were just standing in solo, and people would come and talk to them and everything, and they would look at me and talk to them and whatever. So I thought that was really weird. I mean, come on. We're at an elementary school, so do I think they were there for us? Yes, I really do. Why?
They're there. Those guys are there in case you succeed.
That just sounds like Stargate. I mean, that's the same quote from Stargate.
Well,
I'm here in case you succeed. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And you're absolutely right, because things are happening, Adolf, and you see it as well.
Yes.
So I called you, and I talked to you over the phone, and I came down to your place. And I sat down, and you pretty much started to tell me. Now, you are a pretty much a Sanger person. You were down there near the river bend. You lived there pretty much all your life, right?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me, I know it's a long time ago, man, but, when I sat down in your family room with you and your wife, you started to proceed and to tell me different things and tell everybody pretty much where you instructed me that I had to go.
The levee.
That's right. You pointed to me at the levee,
That's right.
and I went, what the hell is the levee, dude? And then you started to tell me. I mean, tell me your experiences at the levee, and why did you go to the levee?
We had bought a telescope at a yard sale, and I was looking for a place that wasn't flooded with light at night. And we went, we just kept searching, going to the edge of the city and stuff, but these amber streetlights were just like everywhere. And finally, we drove so far north. Now, this was before there were houses out there and off of Shepherd and stuff.
Right.
This was before all that. And I thought, wow, what a great place. Well, the gate to the levee was open, so, I went up there. And pretty much that's when it all started. There were unusual lights in the sky, like just north of us. And I thought, well, could it be a helicopter or a small aircraft? No, there were no. They were lit up, but they weren't lit up like that. They weren't strobe lights. They were just solid lights. And I thought that was unusual. And then they started doing really strange maneuvers. And I was like, okay. That's unusual. So we went back again, and there they were again. And they were going from east to west and then back to the east again. And I began to kind of talk to people because, you see stuff and it's kind of, people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I found. They don't want to admit a lot. They don't want to sound crazy or, yeah, I saw something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I started asking around about it. And when I asked them about the levee gate, I said, it's okay to go up there? Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. The people that range cattle back there said, sure, no problem. Asking them, they admitted, yeah, we've seen some stuff, but we don't know what it is. It's airplanes. And I'm like, well, airplanes are kind of noisy. Those things don't make any noise. So then that's when I began to notice other things in other places. A lot of them around that area to the east of it, there was activity. And then it just, you look for stuff, you'll find it,
Right.
Mostly the mountains, the foothills and stuff. And I started talking to people up there, and, boy, some of the stories I got were just incredible. Stuff that people had seen, stuff that people had witnessed and stuff,
Right.
They were just... and they would invite me. Sure, man, come on up whenever you want. You can come up here and see these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then other places I'd go to in Baja, we'd see them down there. And Mexico's it's got a lot of them.
Oh man, that's a great story, dude. On the Mexico one.
Yeah, down there, down there, those guys see them all the time. And, the way their frame of mind is, they leave us alone and we leave them alone. And they come and go and do their thing. And I'm like, wow, But those people were willing to talk about it. And, hell, they had videotapes of it and stuff. So they invited us back whenever you want to go. So my brother, the one you spoke to at John Wash Elementary, he never really went in for that stuff until we went to the races in Mexico, and then he was blown away.
So you went out there for desert motocross racing?
No, we just went out there to watch people throw dirt at each other for the Baja 500.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, right on.
Yeah.
And you, what did you guys see?
Well, in a couple of places, we saw ships, And it's funny because we saw like these big, my brother had gone outside at nighttime, and he came running back in the little house we were in, and he said, look, there's a big light in the sky. Come on out. Well, the other three guys that were with us, they didn't want to have anything to do with it. And my brother says, come on out. I went outside, and yep, there's a big light in the sky drifting south down the beach. And he said it was just over the house. And I said, okay. And he's like, what is it? Do you think it's a helicopter? And I'm like, well, how noisy was it? And he said it didn't make a sound. And I'm like, well, then it's not a helicopter.
Right.
That was kind of a trip because he's saying, well, what is it? And I said, well, it's an object, it's flying, and it's unidentified. That kind of says it all.
Right.
Well, the next day, we were having a discussion about it in the morning. And the guy that rented us the house for the couple of nights, we were leaving. And he showed up to ask us how things were. And I asked him, I said, hey, my friends were all asking me to ask him, have you seen things in the sky out here at night?
And you had to speak in Spanish, right?
Right. So I'm translating. And the guy says, well, there's a small airport right over there. And I said, not airplanes. And he said, yeah, we see those guys all the time. And I was like, really? And he told me, he says, you want to come over to my house? I'll show you. We got stacks of videotapes. So I told my friends that. I said, hey, this guy's inviting us to his house right up the beach. We can go over there and watch movies of this stuff. And they freaked out, loaded up the trucks, and said, let's get the heck out of here right away.
So now, did you guys see a UFO doing what that old man said they were doing?
Stealing water.
Right.
Yeah, they were taking water out of the bay. And those people down there, they live in the desert. They don't really like it when the UFOs mess with their dogs or steal their water.
They take their dogs?
Oh, yeah, the dogs bark and stuff. They get all upset. The animals get upset, and they don't like that.
I follow you.
Yeah. But in asking, like that old guy that I told you about, in asking him what he thought they were doing there, he said they're mining for gold. And I said, really? And he says, oh, yeah, they go into the hills and they dig and they make a lot of dust, and stuff. They kick up a lot of dust. And he said they're mining for gold because, there is a lot of gold down there. And I guess you need it, or they need it.
Right.
But he said they've been seeing that for decades.
Wow.
These guys come and mine for gold.
Right. Wow.
The thing is, with those guys down there, it was the same story everywhere we went to. I got into asking, and they said, yeah, we see them. We leave them alone, and they leave us alone. And that was it. And over here, if you go looking for those guys, you'll find them. I think they're doing the same thing right up here in the foothills.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, Auberry's a good place to go see them.
Right, and you actually have some spots up there. Now, the first time you guys, I think it was you and your wife who saw something come around the mountain. Describe that.
Yeah, we were just relaxing, looking at the lights. Her cousin had a trailer up there, mobile home, and her yard was a big flat area up above, just above Aubrey. We were sitting there at the trailer and listening to the music and stuff, and we were sitting outside, just having a beer, looking down at the lights, Fresno, Chachilla, stuff like that. A really beautiful, beautiful sight. And there was 4 of us. And the other gentleman that was with us, he asked me, because he didn't believe in UFOs at all, and he asked me what they look like. And I happened to look up when I was toasting up my drink. I happened to look up, and I said, well, I put my drink down, and I said, well, they look like that. And this thing came flying real slow, like a blimp. This thing was huge. Came over the top of the mobile home, probably 500 feet above us or so, but this thing was huge. And he just stood there with his mouth open going like, what's that? And I'm like, what do you think it is? And it had two small satellite ones that were going around it from one end to the other and just zooming around the thing, going back and forth. It was really cool. It was really, really neat. That was one of the neatest ones I'd seen. But it was crystal clear. There it is hanging in the air like a big balloon. But this thing had to be 3 or 4 city blocks long. It was huge, really, really big. And it just drifted down into the valley and then disappeared.
What was the description on it? What did it look like?
It had lights here and there, like small orange lights that were kind of like marker lights or something. It looked like, honestly, it looked like some kind of industrial. It looked very industrial type of a ship. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Okay.
But absolutely silent. Absolutely silent. And ever since then, the other guy has been up there looking at every night for a long time. He was saying that he was out looking for stuff, and he started seeing strange lights up there. Just lights doing strange things in the sky.
Wow.
There's sudden movements and stuff that
Right.
you'd think was an airplane, but then all of a sudden it would zip off.
And we tell people, they've probably been doing this for a long time. And the only problem is people don't look up.
Exactly. Exactly. For whatever reason, people are busy or people are just dealing with their lives and just trying to get by or whatever. But when people do look up, they see things, and then they begin to question themselves. Did I really see that?
Right.
Do I want to talk about it?
Right. Right.
And so they don't say much.
Right. Now,
they dismiss it.
Yes, and that's exactly what they do. I came down to your house, and you basically described to me your encounters, and I said, let's go. And so we jumped in my truck, and we drove over there, and 168 got off on Shepherd. And was it before or after when I got the ticket?
I thought it might have been after.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I remember that strange white van.
Right, and that's we drove up to the levee on top, and there was this white van. There was a guy there sitting down in a white van, looking out towards where the cattle and everything is at, and he was just kicking it there. And we drove up on him, and literally, I parked side by side with the guy. And do you remember his expression?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Where did you come from? And I parked it. He started his van, and he got the hell out of there quick.
Yep.
And he was sort of kind of looking at it as he was driving away, and the dude peeled out. I mean, he was gone.
Yep.
And so, I at that time I didn't know. I told myself, well, is this a coincidence? I don't know, but this is not the first time something like this has happened. So we got out of the truck, and you were, telling me here it is, and I've never been there. This is the first time I've ever been there, so it was totally new to me. Because I'm from Sanger, and I live South Fresno, and there's no reason for me to be North Fresno, where this levee is. And I just found it really interesting, and because when it was built in the 1940s or whatever it was, 30s or 40s, the Army Corps of Engineers built it, and they say because of the 100-year, not drought, but rainstorm or whatever. But see, Adolf, I mean, back then, there was nothing out there.
Oh, yeah. There was not much out there when you and I went out there.
There was nothing out there, dude. And so we're talking the 40s, so there was just flat land. But here, the Army Corps of Engineers come in, and they built this wall levee.
That's right.
And it's about 60, 70 feet high, and you cannot see on the other side unless you drive up on it. So that just blew me away, and that was the first time I was there, and it wasn't the last time. Obviously I went back, and things started to happen. And then we left, and a CHP came out of nowhere, pulled me over, and gave me a ticket right there on D-Wolf. Like, okay, where did this guy come from? But, oh well. He gave me a ticket. We laughed about it. It didn't bother me at all. So it's just one of those things. SHIT happens. And then there, we went to another location. You showed me a bridge and all that. And then we went back. We went back home, and I took you back to your house.
That's right.
The levee, you guys, is where chasing UFOs. We filmed that episode there. That's where the triangle crashed. There is a lot of stuff going on there, and to this day, I still don't know what's going on there. Now, Adolf, you're the type of guy that likes to talk to people, and people like to talk to you. You're a friendly guy. You must get a lot of stories, dude. A lot of stories. And I mean, you told me some stories, and I was just freaking blown away. And I want to, if you can, talk about a couple of the stories, not the ones where it's going to make us, people are going to think we're goofballs, because that's something like that. There's no way, absolutely no way that can happen, And that's one thing I don't like to do on here is a lot of people on Facebook and the internet, they like to tell stories, and they put stories up from third parties and second parties. And I hate that. If I'm going to talk about a situation, an incident, a case, I want to bring that person on here so everybody can hear that person, so you can hear the sincerity of your voice. And that's why I wanted you to come on, because a lot of people have been asking, why in the heck, Jeff, are you guys getting so many cases, so much good photographs, evidence? And it's because people are telling me where to go, like you did.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, so give me one situation that, and I'm trying to think, I'm trying to remember that far back. You have a buddy somewhere up in the mountains that lives in a canyon that sees these things all the time.
Yes. He lives up 180.
Okay.
Up at the top up there. And he basically oversees a park that's up there. It's a camping area. It's a campground. What do you call it? It's like for summer camp. There's a lake. There's cabins, canoes, stuff like that. And he and his fiance oversee the place. There's nobody there. So they just watch the place during the winter and stuff, and they come down every 2 weeks. And it hasn't been open since the Homeland thing. It hasn't been open, but he still goes up there, and somebody's got to maintain the place and watch the place and everything. He invited some friends because in the springtime is when they see what they call fairy lights. So he invited some friends to go up there and camp. And he invited us as well. He said, yeah, whenever you guys want to come up, this place is all empty, man. Okay. So these friends came up. I think it was 3 couples. They went up there, and he took them to the opening of this canyon, where the canyon kind of closes at the back of the campground. And he said, all right, well, I'm going to go back to the house, and you guys have at it. So I guess they got their tents up, they got their fire going, and they're sitting there when one of them began to notice a blue orb or light going up and down the canyon walls. Then they began to see green ones and red ones and all this stuff. Long story short, nobody slept all night. In the morning, he went back to check on them and see how they were doing, and they were pretty freaked out. They folded up their tents and loaded up their stuff, and they got the heck out of there.
So, go ahead.
No, he says that this is a common sight with them, that they see these lights, and they'll be, they'll start off with a couple of them, then there'll be as many as a dozen of them.
Wow.
And they're doing something. They're busy. I don't know, maybe they're scouting, or who knows what they're doing.
Right.
But they're up there doing their thing. To this day, they're still up there.
Wow.
They're still doing their thing. He said in wintertime they don't come around as much, but in the springtime, beginning of summer, he said those things are up there. And I said, well, there's still fireflies and stuff. He said, oh, no. Fireflies don't scare people away.
Right. And I don't think we have fireflies here in.
I don't think so.
No,
yeah,
that's not.
But I brought that up with him because
sure.
I thought, there's a possibility. He said, no, these things they're brighter and bigger than that. Oh, okay, well,
Wow.
yeah.
So okay.
There's just, like we're saying, if you look for stuff, you'll find it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you live on the outskirts of Sanger and sort of kind of looks down to the River Bend area, and you have seen River Bottom, and you've seen stuff down in that area.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And that's such a perfect spot because when you're leaving Sanger and you're going down, I don't know, north or central or whatever, you dip and you go down into the river bottom, and and it's almost like the levee. If there's something flying in there at a low altitude, you're not going to see it unless you're looking.
There's a lot of folks down here, my neighbors, that have cattle and all kinds of horses and all kinds of stuff down here. And I started asking them, hey, you guys ever had anything spook your cattle and stuff? And they'll tell me, oh yeah, we've gone out there and the cows are stirred up. We hear them at night and they get stirred up. We go out, this is their stock. So they go out there to see if it's a coyote or maybe a mountain lion or something, the far possibility. But they've gone out there and seen some pretty weird things. There were some, I know there were some cows that got, mutilated?
Right.
Just below the Pine Flat Dam down there. And that was a little hard to get anybody to talk about that because they said, well, it's coyotes. Yeah, well, coyotes don't use surgical instruments, and they don't do that clean a job.
Right.
But it's some people, it's hard to get them to talk, and some people, if they trust you, they'll talk.
Right.
Right. If they see that you're not,
yeah,
they'll talk. They'll open up.
They'll open up, and
they'll admit that they've seen things, that things have, and then some of them have even told me, if you want to talk to somebody about this stuff, go see so-and-so down, the curve over there. He'll tell you some crazy stuff. Okay, well, go see him.
And you introduced me, I think, to it's on Snake Road. Somebody down there, and, they were witnessing. It wasn't, well, actually, she actually witnessed a UFO. And I remember talking, or I think you translated, you talked to one of the hands, the farmhand down there, and I'm not going to say what he was doing or farming, but we asked him, when you're out here, and he's out there all freaking night. He goes,
all night long.
Did you ever get spooked? Did you feel like somebody's watching you? And he said, absolutely, he does. And that was one of the things he said. And and so, what could that possibly be? Well, you repair ATVs and motorcycles, right?
Right.
Okay. Somebody came up to you to bring their toys, and you fixed, you were fixing them, and you started talking to this guy, and somehow you were able to, make him comfortable with you, because you are good at doing that. Everybody likes you, and he started opening up and telling you about what was going on at his place. And then you said, well, I have the perfect guy you need to talk to.
Right.
And you gave me his number. And eventually I got a hold of him. And we went out there last night.
Oh,
we were there for 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. We sat in the family room and we talked to him, and he talked to us and basically told us everything that was going on his property, and I was confirming to him how he was describing these things. I said that's Bigfoot. Those are Bigfoots. And he didn't know how to react to something like that. I mean, you got to be freaking kidding me. He owns some farmland out there. I'm not going to say what he's growing, but the picture that got out on the net for Avocado Lake, I showed him that, and he said, dude, I know exactly where that's at. And then he said, I'm going to take you there. Obviously, we didn't go last night because it was dark, but he started telling me these stories about the valley he lives in, and his produce is in that valley, about what he has witnessed, years ago and to this day. And I think that is the place where they're coming in to the floor, to the valley floor.
Well, consider this: they're mountain dwellers, The drought has certainly affected them because all their prey, the deer and everything else, it's come down here.
Right.
To get water and to get food and stuff like that. So they follow that. And why not? I mean, you can smell the orange blossoms for a long way up the hills.
Yes, absolutely.
So they come down here to eat, to take advantage. And I'm sure that even in years before, when they do that most people don't see them, and if they do see something, it's a bear. It's always a bear.
Right.
So they just kind of dismiss it as that.
Right, an animal of some type, a bobcat, mountain lion.
Exactly.
Now, he stated that, before where he lives, there used to be deer, mountain lions, bobcats, raccoons, possums everywhere.
Right.
And they're all gone.
They're gone.
Even the pigs, the wild boar, they're gone.
Yep, they're gone.
They're completely gone.
This is a very common thing to see. You'll see them. The pigs and the deer and the and the cats, they follow, that's prey, so they follow them. They got trails all over the place.
Yep.
They go to get water and to get food and to eat grass and all that stuff like that. Gone.
Right.
They've just disappeared.
Yes, he says they are completely. They haven't seen an animal down there in a long time.
Yeah.
So
he said it's been a few.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a while, a few weeks. Yeah.
Right. So that's when obviously when he talked to you about possibly ghost apparitions. I said, okay, I'll give him a call, and I called him on Friday, and we talked for about an hour and a half, and he was telling me, he heard a scream that he's never heard before ever, and it was just a wail of a scream, and it just scared the out of him, and he's never heard that before. And to me, I knew exactly what it was that was doing that. But the things that he was saying, that he was witnessing up there, it's mind-boggling. He didn't think that what he was witnessing were Bigfoots. He thought they were military guys in heavy suits running.
And those booty suits. Yeah.
Right, and he said that he witnessed 2 military personnel out there in ghillie suits with AR-15s as if they were trying to hunt for something. And he actually saw, and he was there with his wife, and his daughter showed up, and he was telling us the story that when in the mornings when you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go turn on the water and watch your crop and all that, maintain it, he would see these things popping up over the rocks on the hill, and he could see them, but it's like he would continue messing with the water, drip irrigation or whatever he's doing, and then all of a sudden he would look up right at them, and then they would hide down behind the rocks, and he sees that all the freaking time. And the other, I don't know how long ago this was, I'm just going to tell you a quick story he told me, but he said he was up there at 4 o'clock in the morning driving around in one of his toys, and he saw about 4 or 5 what he thought were guys running around out there, and he saw them, and he got the flashlight and started pointing at them, and he says, "Hey, what are you guys doing on my property?" And these guys just scatter, and he noticed one of them had an animal over his shoulder, and this guy that was running with this, and he said it looked like a pig, a wild boar, and he said this guy was running. And he said it was funny because the guy, he said it was a guy at the time. He said he tripped over a pipe, and he started flying through the air and fell, and so did the boar. And then he got up, got the pig, threw it over his shoulder, and he just ran straight up that hill with ease.
Sure.
And he thought to himself, "What the hell just happened?" He's tried climbing that mountain, walking it. Or the hill? No way. I mean, these guys.
He knows those hills. It's not a guy in a big, heavy ghillie suit.
No.
That's carrying a pig over his shoulder.
Right.
And being able to run uphill.
Right.
There's not too many people around that can do that.
No. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So he was describing that. Plus, he's actually seen sheriff's officers hunting something in the orange fields next to his house.
Right.
And he would go out there.
They will tell you they're hunting pigs.
Right. Right. But
why? When nobody calls in and says we have a pig problem.
Right. I mean, that just doesn't happen. Sheriff's officers aren't
Right.
going to go for pig problem. That you take care of that. There's people who can go out there and hunt
Exactly.
those. He said,
exactly right.
he said he witnessed, a sheriff's helicopter, flying around this orchard like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's sheriff's officers around, the orange fields, and all of a sudden
Right.
they open up and start firing at something, and and they're just. And he said it was like a war, and they started shooting, and and it stopped. Like they got whatever it was. Now, when he said that, when he witnessed the 4 guys, what he thought were 4 guys with the pig running, he also witnessed 2 military guys, and he can see these guys, the military guys. They were actual military guys because he saw the AR-15s and they were camoed the whole 9 yards. And the military guys totally freaked because Keith saw them, so they start running. And then all of a sudden, that's when he witnessed the other 4 or 5 guys running, the one with the pig. And he thinks that, oh man, excuse me, that they were hunting them.
That's right.
And I think, here in Fresno, and I've said this many times, that we have a black op, on standby here in Fresno, and that's what they do. And they go, and when they know there is a Bigfoot spotted or something going on with Bigfoot, and somehow it gets to them, like me telling them, then they'll send out their squad and they'll go out and see if they can hunt for them. The day before I talked to Keith, Joe, the other guy who lives at Riverbend in Zedeker, he called me and he said, "Dude, hey, how's it going?" I said, "Good." He goes, "Hey, there's some CHP officers parked across my way, and there's a cool-looking helicopter that doesn't have any markings, and they're flying around the Tangerine spot." And then I was telling Keith that, and he says, "Dude, they were up here too, across my property." And Keith got into his car, and he started to tail him, and then the CHP car disappeared. And I think he just turned off into, I don't know, Avocado Lake maybe, and he went and hid. It's just weird that this all happened when I finished talking to Keith and Joe the day before and the day of. And then I asked Keith, I said, "Have you ever seen any unmarked vehicles up here?" And he says, "Yes, there's white vehicles up here all the time, parked across the way looking at him and all this kind of stuff." And I'm going, holy smokes. So we were there for 5 hours. And I think that's why I got sick, because I was out there for a long time. And so he invited us to go and pretty much spend the night. I told him we had a fifth wheel. He says, "Bring the fifth wheel up, park right there on that grass area, and you can stay for a whole week if you want to." And he says, "You will hear and you will see something." He will even take me across the road where these things are. And he says he sees eyes. And and he says, "What the hell are those?" And that was before my time, obviously.
The interesting thing about this is they're getting so close to his house.
Yes.
And I told him, well, they're curious about you. They're getting braver and braver. I told him you might want to take your dogs in the house because they could disappear too.
Absolutely.
Those things are quick enough to catch pigs and deer, and it's not a problem for them to steal a dog.
Right.
But that's why all the game, the turkey and everything's disappeared off his property.
Yep.
Is because they're hunting there. Now, the CHP's been called out a bunch of times. The sheriff's been called out a bunch of times. Hey, there's something out here. They get called. So now these military people get involved. Now they want real proof.
Right.
If they're involved in this, then it's serious. And they don't want to go and make casts of tracks. They want a creature.
Right.
They want to catch one.
I personally think, Adolf, that they've been hunting them forever. And I think they're actually killing them. And once they kill them, they fly them out and take them wherever. Who knows where they take them. Because
of this drought, it's become a real opportunity for them because they're down here.
Yes.
Otherwise, they can hide in the mountains and, be undetected.
Right.
But because there's snow, it's hard on them because, and the drought, like I said, it's bringing them down here where all the game has come.
Right.
So they're after, they're following the game.
Right.
And it's become opportunity. I mean, it's to catch them now is got to be a lot easier for these guys.
Right. And they're not going to
Yeah.
and they're not going to capture them per se. They're going to take them out.
Exactly.
They're going to take them out. And we've been trying to tell people that our government know they exist. It's as simple as that, guys. Come on, you guys need to wake up and just they know they exist. They have been monitoring these Bigfoots, where they go, their migration, times, seasons. They are down here when there's tangerines and grapefruits and lemons. And matter of fact, Keith goes, Jeff, a lot of my lemons have been disappearing. And he would say, you would think that, okay, if they're falling off the tree, they'd be on the ground and you would see them, but there is nothing. This tree is almost bare and the lemons are gone. Now, if it was an animal who likes lemons, tell me what animal that is. But the Joe who saw the 5 Bigfoots across his house were in a tangerine spot. And that's where they were at. And the tangerines were so freaking juicy, it's not even funny. And right around the corner is where 2 kids saw one walking into a very high brushy area, and they called us about 3 years ago. So everything is right there, man. I mean, Avocado Lake is just
The weather's agreeable. There's food. There's water. It's easy pickings, And if you can stay hidden in the bushes and trees, hang out.
Yeah, and
so they're not going to disappear. I think also, I was talking to that gentleman there, and I told him, if you're lucky you don't have any garlic on your property planted, because all that would disappear too.
So they like garlic.
Well, the smell of garlic. But garlic is also animals eat it because it's a natural. It keeps ticks and fleas and stuff like that off of you.
Oh.
Yeah, mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. They don't like that.
Right.
And if you eat it, it permeates your skin. It comes out, and they stay away from you. So, I think those Bigfoots like garlic.
Well,
when they can find it.
Yes, when they can find it, because down there it's a smorgasbord, and we told people, the bottom floor of California is the breadbasket of the world. We grow everything here: pistachios, almonds, fruit, everything. So, for them to come down where we usually go to Badger, and Badger to the bottom valley floor is absolutely nothing to these guys. They'll make it in freaking an hour. Okay, it's absolutely not a problem for the way these guys run, because
that to travel is now.
Oh yeah,
it's easy.
Yes, and so Keith is really excited, and Emerald and I, we went out there and we sat down and we talked for 5 hours, and he basically spilled his guts.
He's a very high energy.
Yes.
Kind of guy.
Yes, he's very high energy, and he was really excited. Again, he had no clue who I was and who Emerald was. We started. I mean, obviously you told them about me, but in detail, he had no clue about us being on the Dark Matter Network. He had no clue about us, shooting some TV pilots and getting them put on KMPH. He had no clue, all of that we were on Chasing UFOs, Monsters and Mystery, nothing. So he was freaking blown away. He was floored that somebody from the valley, Sanger of all people, is looking into this stuff, and it's serious about it. And he was excited. He actually broke down a couple times, and Emerald was in the bedroom with his wife, but he actually started to cry because it's funny because he was telling me stuff that he's kept inside of him forever.
Right. He wanted somebody to believe him.
Right.
And you don't want to sound crazy,
right?
And you don't want to, so that when somebody does believe you, and especially somebody like him, he's a pretty passionate guy.
Yeah, he is.
He believes in karma. He believes in things happen for a reason and stuff. He was told about me at a local business over here. He jokingly asked if anybody knew anybody who fixed these ATVs, and they all pointed at my shop. So when he came over here, he told me where he lived and stuff and where his place was, and I said, "Oh, I know that spot." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "Well, there's things, people see things up there." And he's like, "Holy cow, I'm here for a reason." And he just went on, and it just started, the conversation started like that.
Right.
Well, then he said, yeah, man, that's when I told him about you. And he said, please tell Jeff to call me, get me some help. And I said, I will. Well, a couple of days later, he came back down again and said, please give Jeff my number, and I want to talk to him. So I had no idea you guys were going to spend that much time talking about all that stuff. That's great.
Right. And the reason why I didn't get a hold of him right away is because I wanted to wait for Alan to get better. And because when you told me what was he experiencing, I thought it was mostly spirits and ghosts because he's on Native American land, and that's why I assumed.
That's right.
And then I called him and we started talking, and then it turned out that that's not what he thinks is going on. And I pretty much said, I think you got some Bigfoots running around there. And I said, I need to come down and talk to you. And that night I said, can I come after work? And sure as heck, I called Emerald, and she came over, and we went over there last night at 5:30 and got home at 10:30. So,
fantastic.
And so he is really excited. As a matter of fact, this is the highway for them, how they get down to the valley floor. This is where they go, right here. This is it. So he is like me. He wants definite proof. He wants. I told him, are there people out there who hunt these things? And I sort of kind of raised my hand, and he says, you? I'm going, well, we need a body. We need a body in order to preserve these animals, in order to basically confirm their existence. And I told him, and we've said this on the air a while back, that I think we were probably the first show to openly say, we're going to kill one, unfortunately. And a lot of people are not going to like that. But, even Kathy Strain, we had a geologist who came on the air with us who works for the government. And she even said, I've seen these Bigfoots, Jeff. I know we need a body. And she even said, I plan to shoot one myself. She had the opportunity in Oklahoma and didn't get to do it. But they saw these things. I mean, just, it was mind-boggling. So
that's the consensus. There's enough people who have seen it. Yeah. There's enough people, and now they want real proof.
Right.
And this is the only way to do it.
The only way to do it, unfortunately. So, and I know people are going to hate me for saying that, but I've said it here on the air, and so to Alan, that we need a body, and if it comes down to it, we are going to have a body. And excuse me. And when that happens, it's going to change for them. But the reason, let's think about that. Why doesn't the government want to let us know about these Bigfoots? What are they? How long have they been here? And that's what is bizarre. And I'm not just talking to myself, but to everybody in the Bigfoot world. They're thinking, they know exactly our government knows they exist. Absolutely they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But why are they keeping it a secret? That's what I want to know.
It's plausible deniability, I guess. They don't want to admit anything. So that way they can keep funding themselves to go and do that kind of research. I think you're right. I think they've got proof already. I think they know where they colonized. I think they know more than they let on. But it's like everything else they do. If you ask them, no, we don't know anything about it. So that's end of story.
Right.
Hey, we've got all this stuff flying around in our airspace. What's going on, guys? Nope, don't know anything. Don't see anything. No. And they do.
Right.
They know.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to know they do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, I've told people, they are listening to us tonight. I personally think they went out there to the location because I talked to Keith on my phone, and then all of a sudden he said, "Hey, dude, today the CHP were basically driving around looking for something, helicopter, and it was very odd." Could have they been looking for suspects or something or whatever? I don't know. So I told him, don't be surprised now if you are going to see more excitement from unmarked vehicles, because he says there's one who parks about a mile away, and he's there in a white vehicle. I don't remember if he told me it was a white truck or a car, and he actually got his binoculars, and he spotted him in this white vehicle on his binoculars looking on the side of the hill, looking towards this area as if it was looking for something.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they're doing. They're looking. It's the time that they're down here. I mean, because of the produce.
Right.
And that's
right.
why,
That's
and that's why I got 2 calls, man. I got your call and I got Joe's call. So that's absolutely incredible that this is actually happening.
Maybe one of the other reasons the CHP is involved in this thing is because they have a lot of power, legal power, to not have to answer to anybody. They actually, if there's a shootout or a holdup or anything, you might notice the CHP is always called, because they can go in and shoot and do whatever they have to do without any kind of, major reporting or anything like that. They come in, they do it, they leave, and everybody else has to clean it up.
Are they because they're mostly federal for the government?
Mostly, yes, because as I've heard it, they're the judge, jury, and executioner on the spot. So that's kind of they're kind of like maybe like federal troopers or something. I don't know. Yeah. But when the CHP is involved, it's serious.
Okay, well, that's who was out there a couple days ago, and he just like I said, I got a call from Joe, and he was telling me, dude, they're out here in front of my house right now. Why? Because they're looking for the freaking Bigfoots, dude. I mean, I can't tell you and another theory of mine, but that sounds like, I mean, it's not coincidence. There's no coincidence in what we're doing here. When we arrive on a case that has to do with UFOs or Bigfoot, we keep our eyes open because there are vehicles who follow us to the spot, and they know why we're going there. And like I've told a lot of people, they monitor me because I have the 24-hour hotline, and I've had it forever. And they're going to continue monitoring me because it's awesome for them when a call comes in, because the people who live, heads up. The people out there aren't going to call the CHP and say, "Hey, there's a Bigfoot out there." They're going to go, "What? What are you smoking?" That's not the case. And when I get a call, they monitor me, and obviously they're going to know exactly where that call is coming from and pinpoint it, and they're going to send some people out there. It's obvious. Exactly. It's obvious. So, but you know what? I can care less. It is only going to bring more proof that our government knows, they are coming down here to the valley floor. I would have never thought this in a million years, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that was the case. We were always going up to the spot where David Rigosa has been going for freaking ever, 25 years, right? And but we don't have to do that anymore.
No.
We don't have to go. We can just go 30 minutes from my house, and we are there.
Right.
So it's wow. And I am excited. Because he pretty much already said, when do you want to come down? I told him I want to put up some cameras with my DVR, go get it from Joe's and put them up. And he says, sure. He goes, I even have a tower you can put all that stuff on. And I said, holy crap!
Fantastic.
So we're gonna light that place up, and we're gonna monitor. And he said, bring your fifth wheel down here and park it and stay. And at nighttime, listen and observe. So.
Yeah. He told me the same thing. He said, get your friends and get those guys over there. They can stay on my place. They can do whatever, equipment and stuff they got to have. We'll set them all up.
Absolutely. So that's going to happen here pretty soon. He wants me to come back up there within the next day or so. Excuse me. To look at the tower and to figure out how we're going to put up the cameras, and because he wants this to happen ASAP. He's also scared because he has a teenage daughter. And we started talking about missing people, and he didn't know about that at all. So I had to basically inform him about the missing people, and the author that we've had on our show, Missing 411, David Paulides, and he was freaking blown away, and it scared him to death because his daughter's bed is by a window, and she said one night that something pulled on her legs as if it was trying to pull her off the bed, but yet the window was closed. And I said, interesting. Right away we thought, okay, maybe UFOs, but then we started talking about the Bigfoots and what we kind of get as far as information that they're possibly telepathic and they can do all that. And we started really getting into dimensions and all that kind of stuff. And so he's scared. He's really scared for his daughter. And because he can take care of himself, and so is his wife, but his daughter is what is really scaring him. And now with all the missing animals, that's really scaring him. So he wants, and can I do anything about that? No, I can't. But he has given me the opportunity to set up shop and to see if I can get someone on film.
At least, at least draw attention to it.
Yeah, and we'll see.
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts. So to find the spot, and we've been looking for a spot for the longest time. And I even told Alan, eventually I knew we were going to get the call, and the call was going to come in and say they're here, and that's what happened within the past week, right around the Albocata Lake area. So, all right, so awesome. So what are you doing? I mean, do you go back out to Levy anymore, or up the mountains, or?
No, I've been busy and just haven't had the opportunity to. But I think, maybe this spring I'm going to start taking my telescope out there.
Right on.
That seems to draw them out.
Right on. So, all right, Adolf, I really appreciate you coming on, even that you were sick. I wanted people to hear it from you, from the person who actually brought to my attention all of this, and I really appreciate it big time, dude. So
Absolutely.
I will let you know when I'm going up to Keith so that you can drop by and hang out with us.
Fantastic. I'd love to.
Okay, awesome, dude. All right, I'll let you know what's going on, okay?
All right.
Sweet. Thanks, Adolf. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, my voice is still intact. So, it was him. So, UFOs and Bigfoot, this guy. He's the one who has been bringing me all this attention, and I'm like just blown away. And it's all legit, you guys. I mean, that's why I wanted to have him on here to tell you guys exactly what's going on. Man, it's happening for us because of word of mouth and connections and people talking and I wonder how many other people who live where this guy lives, neighbors, are witnessing the same freaking thing, and yet they keep it to themselves because they don't want to get laughed at. Who are they going to call? They don't have internet up there, but obviously cell phones have internet now, and they can easily get on there, type in Bigfoot or Sanger, and my number will come up. But a lot of them won't do it because they don't want to bring the attention to them. Now, Keith, on the other hand, loves this stuff, and he wants proof just like I do. I do, and when I was telling him what I think that was going on, when he was telling me all of the guys running up the hill and the pig and all that, he's like, man, that makes total sense. It makes absolutely total sense. So all right. So thank you, Adolf, for coming on. He had a cold. It's just like I have a sort of kind of a fever and sore throat. I am calling in sick tomorrow, and my supervisor, Mike, if you're listening, I'm like coughing like mad, and I'm trying to keep the cough out of the microphone. I'm trying to silence and mute the button as much as I could. So I will call you later on or text you, and I'm not going to come in tomorrow because I am not feeling good at all.
You look like crap, too.
Yeah, you look like crap.
Thanks.
So obviously, Emerald, it's your time to talk, but you were not feeling too good today. And so
then probably not. Well, I'll think of something for next week, but
Okay.
my professors, he won't be here Monday or Wednesday. They have a retreat. So
okay.
we'll figure
So
something
right on.
out.
So okay.
I want to hear what's under the towel.
Okay. Well, let's talk about. Made a list here. Let me break out the list and let me put my glasses on. Let's see. First of all, let me put up a picture on the screen here really quick. And for those who, for Art Bell, they have the pictures from the Squatch Report and the Heidi's report. When I think of some stuff to talk about, before the show, I can't send them pictures right off the bat because it's going to be too late. So the only way you can do it is just go back to the archive, and if you wanted to listen or see these photographs, you can always go back to the archive and watch them. So My good friend Steve Lau, he lives in Fremont, the Bay, and he posted something on his Facebook wall, and he was a proud papa. What do you mean, Jeff? Let me put this up really quick, and he has no idea I'm going to do this. So, okay, let me go to screen, and so there we go. Okay, that's his daughter, all right, and she was at the science fair in Fremont, and she happened to have won second place for the whole district in Fremont. And let me tell you, he was gloating big time. You know, he goes, man, I can't wipe the freaking smile off my face. And I said, and I looked at it, and I'm going, Twinkie test. What is the Twinkie test? So he proceeded to tell me what her science project was. She took a Twinkie, and she took an apple, and she opened up the Twinkie, and she put them around ants. The ants stayed away from the Twinkie and attacked the apple. Swear to God, that's exactly how she won. The Twinkie, the ants did not even touch it. They didn't even get close to the Twinkie. They attacked the apple, you guys, and left the Twinkie alone. What is that to say about what we're putting in our stomachs, especially this Twinkie? All right? And I was floored, and I'm going, you got to be kidding. And he said, no, man. You know, that's why she won second place, because that's something where, you know, I mean, come on, Twinkies is just something that you go walk into a 7-Eleven, you buy a Twinkie, and you eat it, and that's awesome, you know.
You could buy like a whole box for like $4 or $5.
Yeah. But I don't know why she did this particular science project. Maybe she was eating a Twinkie and dropped it on a bunch of ants, and the ants went, whoa, and got away from it. She went, huh? Because thinking, you know, a Twinkie is sugar content and whatever. The feeling is like, oh my God, this is ants' favorite food, you know, and no. So for all those who don't believe this, grab a Twinkie and take it and put it around some ants and see what happens. So she got second place. And I wanted to tell you that because, you know, we talk about, you know, the GMO products. And obviously that Twinkie is, you know, probably heavy in GMO stuff. And the ants know.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Okay, red flag. Well, not red flag, but I took an egg class a couple semesters ago.
Okay.
So you got to understand GMO is not the...
Oh, okay.
GMO is just
Right,
genetically
right.
modified. So if we didn't have
Right.
that, our watermelon wouldn't be a watermelon it
Okay.
is today.
Right.
So what you guys are talking about are the pesticides and all the nasty
Well,
stuff.
pesticides and the
'Cause
stuff that's making the filling with it. I mean,
Yeah.
what is it? You know, I haven't looked at the package of a Twinkie to read all the stuff.
No.
And it's probably words I've never even heard of.
You can't pronounce it.
Right.
So I've had people tell me, if you can't pronounce what's in your food, don't eat it. But so you have to make that difference. There are the good GMOs, which create our food, makes
Okay.
it grow a little
Okay.
faster.
Right.
And then you have the bad ones, the ones that, or quote unquote bad.
Right. And yes, I'm glad you cleared that up for me because, excuse me, there are GMOs that they're actually trying to, you know, invent. I don't want to say invent, but new types of food and how to grow better food, and that's what they're using. So I wanted to share this with you guys because I went wow, and again, if you guys don't believe me, I mean, obviously. She has pictures and photographs, and that's why she got the second place ribbon. So congratulations to her. Steve, you lucky dog. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is, let me look at my cardboard sign here where I wrote everything down. You know, we talked about last week about the night terrors, excuse me. Thank you to all the people who emailed me and filled out the form. I got a lot of them. All right, I'm talking from all over the world, the UK, you know, the America, and my Christian is not alone. All right, there are other kids having the same night terrors, just like Christian, and pretty much identical. They witness, you know, when they're awake and screaming, either they're running around, you know, the house screaming like they're trying to kill demons or whatever, and you know, my Christian witnessed something crawling up the walls of the corner of the family room when we had a high fever, and the guy, I mean, he would just not stop crying and shaking. It was just wow. So, you know, we talked last week and we said, why is this happening to our kids and adults now, but we never heard this back in the 70s or 60s when I was growing up? Because my family, my parents witnessed Christian go cuckoo at their house, and my parents are old-fashioned. They're Spanish, they're Mexicans. Right away, oh my God, you got to take them to go get a priest. You got to. It's all the devil. It's this, and I'm going, man, stop already, stop, okay. And they don't listen to the show because I know they speak English, but it's just too much for them. So I started thinking, you guys, seriously, I started thinking, what is the difference from 1960, 1970, when I got 103 temperature? What did my parents do to me? They put me in a tub with cold water to bring down the temperature, but they also gave me medicine. Back then, there wasn't that many types of medicines out there. You had your aspirin or Tylenol, and that was it. And man, did it taste horrible. Oh my God! I mean, I remember tasting that stuff, and I would almost puke and spit it out. But I had to drink it. Nowadays, you guys, when your son or daughter has a fever, you give them medicine. If you go to the nearest pharmacy, oh my God, there are different types of medicines. And that's what I have here. I mean, when my sons used to get, sick, I would go to Rite Aid or Walgreens, and I would buy something that said high fever, cold, flu, and I would buy it, and it says for children. Did I observe the box and the label to see what was in it? No, I didn't, because I wanted something that would cure my son as soon as possible. So we gave him medicine, just like all of you probably do. And so I started, I told my wife, a little while ago before we came up, and she goes, what are all the medicines for? And I told her. And she looked at me and she goes, huh. So I said, why don't you look on these labels and see if there's any identical, type of medicine that's inside these that we probably can't, pretty much sound off. And she found one, and she Googled it, and she said, this one here causes seizures and at nighttime. And she pretty much described what Christian was happening, what was happening to him. This particular, medicine, or not want to say medicine, chemical, whatever they put into this medicine, was possibly causing that. And I went, holy smokes. So she started looking on the other ones, and they all have the same thing. And even allergy medicines have them as well. And, and that's why, remember I told you guys that, when he doesn't have a fever, sometimes he will start to do that, and go into convulsions, and we're going, but he doesn't have a fever. Well, my son has allergies, just like probably everybody else here on the valley floor. And so we give him allergy medicine. I mean, it's just a given. I take Claritin and pills and, Benadryl, and because, my allergy, you guys, it's just absolutely, I hate allergies. It's horrible down here. We live, in the Dust Bowl and all the pollen. I hate the spring, man, because I am so drugged up, and I hate it with a passion. Now, with no water, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Because obviously right now the trees are starting to bloom, and that's why Emerald right now has you're like you are, and that's why I'm like I am, because the trees are starting to bloom, and we were freaking up there
where everything was,
right, and that's why it hit us hard. And not mentioning that I've been working 2 weeks straight with no break either, so that didn't help. So my immune system wasn't up to par, but. Obviously I don't take medicines. I take the Claritin D 12-hour, because that's the only thing that helps me. It opens up my sinuses, and it actually, instead of 12-hour, it only works 6 hours for me. And I've heard, and I heard, depending on your system, the allergy medicine you take doesn't necessarily have to be 12-hour or 24-hour. It's how your body reacts. If you take it, it might work for 5 hours, and then all of a sudden you're back to sneezing and your sinuses all clogged up. Well, I've heard, from doctors that, well, then pop another one. You'll be fine. And I do, especially at nighttime. I suffer during the day because I don't want to, and I have, get a Benadryl and be sleepy because I climb poles for a living. That's all I need to do is climb up a pole and slip on one of the steps, and boom, that would hurt. So I take one at nighttime so I can sleep well, and that way I don't snore for my wife, because she actually has allergies too. I don't know what type of allergy medicine she takes, but do that, you guys. Get the medicine out of the cupboard and start reading the label and start googling the actual whatever chemical that's inside. Now, she mentioned this, and I can't pronounce it, especially with a cough and a cold. So it is called phenylephrine. It's phenylephrine. That particular chemical is in all of them, which I found really interesting. And when she Googled it, and actually it was on Wikipedia, it pretty much said, consult your doctor because there's seizures, and I forgot what she said, but when she said it, I'm going, holy smoke, that's what's happening to Christian. So what if it's the medicine that's causing these lapses? Only in certain people, though. Because, I've had families say it only happens to one child and not all four when they get fevers. It's just this one person. So maybe, and I'm going to throw this out there, whether, you think I am smoking the crack or not, it may be this particular chemical is doing something in their head, and it's opening up something. And they're able to see another dimension or see something that we don't see because of the high fevers and the chemical that's inside, any type of, and again, I just put these out there because this is the stuff we get from, Claritin and Advil and Dimetap, and there's probably some more in our cupboard. I mean, we have a freaking pharmacy in our kitchen. All right. So do your homework, go out there, and you guys, for those people who are having, these night terrors occurring to your kid, fill out the form again and send me a response and see if it all makes sense to you. Because I want to know. Again, hold on. This is just a theory because I'm trying to figure out what are night terrors and why didn't I have them when I was a kid. Maybe because we didn't have the strong medicine that we do now, or the stuff that's in the chemtrails falling down and we're, breathing them, and it's in our bodies, and maybe with this chemical reaction, maybe it's causing that. I don't know. But, we have to start someplace. Is it something that, we can say, no, there's no way, absolutely no way. No, don't say that. Go see. And that's why I'm bringing this up, because, I hate to see my son go into convulsions and do what he was doing. It scares the crap out of my wife and I. And if it's in a medicine, then with a certain chemical, then process of elimination, you guys. All right, try one and see if it has them. And, even if he is sick and he takes the medicine, and let's say his fever goes away, that medicine is probably still in his system. All right, so don't be surprised if that medicine is still, in his bloodstream, and it's still causing the night terrors. Because remember, I said that to my, about my son, that, he didn't have the fever anymore, but it was still happening to him. So what if that medicine is still in his bloodstream and in his system, and it's still doing that to him? I don't know. So I am throwing this at you because when something like this comes across my desk and it's hurting somebody, and if it's hurting your kids out there, then I want to see if I can help you guys solve this problem. Is it paranormal? No, absolutely not. But they're witnessing something, and it's scaring the crap out of them. And all the people that I speak to and the emails that I got on that form, their kids are all witnessing almost the same identical thing. It's a demon. It's a black. It's walking around, and they're, pointing at it. The thing is crawling up the walls, and they're trying to kill it. And that's what's happening. So maybe it's in the medicine. All right, because I can't figure out what else could be happening. I don't know. Is it the demon and the devil's attacking them? Maybe they are, and Emerald, you could probably back me up on this, maybe our kids can see into that particular dimension and see these particular demons, and they're pissed because, oh my God, you see me, type of deal.
I don't know. You bring up a good point in the medicine, though. Like, I didn't even think about that.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating like a dog right now, guys. Oh. So sick.
Jeff's he's so sick.
Oh man,
we're both all jacked up.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that now because I'm kind of curious now with that medicine.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, Cheryl Googled a couple of them, and she looked at me, and she was sitting down in front of the computer, and she says, "Holy crap! Look at what this one does." And it says, consult your doctor if you have seizures or if you have. And she said a couple of things, and right away I'm going, oh my God, that's what happening to Christian.
Because it's not happening to all the kids who are taking the medicine.
It isn't.
Because my sister takes like Claritin and stuff like that.
Right.
So it doesn't happen to her.
Right. So I'm kind of interested to see if you took this on like a day off or something at home. Take some. I'll give you the name of this.
I took Benadryl today.
I don't know. See, and again, I don't know if Benadryl.
I don't know.
Now,
I used to take all that stuff as a kid, and I've never like.
Well, you always see stuff though.
I've never like woken up like I've never had like a real night
terror. Okay.
Yeah, that's never happened to me. So I don't know, and it could just affect certain
people,
kids.
Certain kids because of maybe the certain DNA that they have. Because, excuse me, my son, when he was very young. I showed you the ambulance picture, my research card, right? When I first bought it, it was all white. Excuse me. And I parked it out in the cul-de-sac. And I have cameras pointing at the cul-de-sac, and I have a monitor on top of our TV. And he came up, and he was looking at the monitor, and he was small, 2, 3, something, when I first got the ambulance, maybe even younger. And he goes, Daddy, what is that little black boy doing standing by your ambulance? And I went, huh? And, my wife was sitting down. I was sitting on the couch, and, I got up, and I'm looking at the monitor. And he goes, he's pointing. He's right there. And I'm so I ran through the dining room and opened the front blinds, to outside the front yard, and I didn't see anything. And so I ran back, and I said, Christian, where are you? Where you see him? He goes, he's right there. And I'm and he doesn't have any clothes, and he's black. I'm what? And he's looking at me, and you can tell he's actually looking at something. And again, I ran. This time I opened the door and I went out to the front yard where the ambulance was, and I didn't see anybody. And I'm going to Cheryl, or Diane, whatever her name is. Do you see anything? And he said no. And we asked his name, and he told us the name. I forgot his name. Do you remember?
No.
It's been a
while.
Yeah. And I sat down and I started to think about what he was pointing at and what he was saying. The ambulance that I purchased from almost a junkyard with an actual real ambulance, and actually, were dispatched on sick people, on dead people, or whatever. And I'm going, what if he actually saw a person that actually died in the ambulance? Because he said, the little black boy doesn't have any clothes. What if this little black boy was in the ambulance when they were trying to work on him, and he took off his clothes and tried to revive him, and they couldn't, and he died in the ambulance? That's my theory. But he actually, after that happened, the little boy, and I don't remember the little boy's name, and I know my wife is listening. Can you text me his name? I just want to tell you his name. And we would hear him up in the bedroom playing with his Hot Wheels and talking to somebody. and he would say the name of the little boy, like he's actually playing with him. And that happened a lot. And what's crazy is it happened most of the time when I wasn't home. When we weren't out on cases, we were out all night, and my wife and my son Christian stayed back. She would text me, said, dude, not dude, but so, hey, Christian is playing with his imaginary friend. But what's weird is that whenever I come home, Michael, thank you. And whenever I come home, he goes away. Like he doesn't like me. He said because I am tall. He said Jeffrey is tall. It scares him. And where Cheryl sits down, her eye peripheral vision is straight up the stairs. When I'm not home, she will see a shadow walk up those stairs and around. As a matter of fact, during Christmas, this is when Andrew was very, very small, and I don't know if Christian was born yet, to be honest. I don't think he was. Cheryl was upstairs on the not the balcony, but the second story, and she saw something walk into Andrew's room. So she runs and goes, "Hey, I see you." She goes into Andrew's room, and there's nothing there. And this was on Christmas Eve, right? And Drew was downstairs. So she's like, huh? And then I wasn't there when this happened. Or was I? I don't remember. But freaked her out. Because she saw somebody walk in Andrew's room. And she knew it was Andrew. But when she went in there and said, hey, no one was in there. And she goes, Drew! And he yells from downstairs, what? You're not in your room. No, I'm getting something to eat. And we're like, okay. And that was right around Christmas. A lot of stuff happens right around holidays. And I bet you that happens to a lot of people out there as well. During, birthdays and during Christmas and Thanksgiving, a lot of this stuff happens. And I don't know why, if it's a loved one or that passed or whatever. I don't know. But we've had stuff like that happen to us here. And Emerald, you seem to think that Christian possibly has a gift.
I think so.
Talk closer.
I think so.
Okay.
It could be his age because he is still young.
Right.
But even kids who see it when they're young, they have to have something. Even if it goes away later on, they had it for a time.
Right.
I think he's more in tune to it than others.
Right. I don't know. But, I'm throwing this all at you guys because we're investigators, and I'm hoping that I'm opening up your brain a little bit for you to go and Google these chemicals that are inside this medicine and see maybe if that's what's causing your night terrors on your kids. Oh, and adults as well. And adults, because I know one adult personally that this is happening to, and it's happening all the time. Now, I know she's also on a lot of medication. So what the question is, why is she on this medication, and what is it? All right? So, okay. Man, I can't believe I talked that long, because right now I can't talk. All right. Let's call Heidi.
Cool story.
Yep. And let's get her on the line. Heidi Hollis has been with us now going on maybe 3 months, and she is our ghost UFO reporter. She tries to bring us the up-to-date cool stuff, and we're going to get her on the phone and talk to her. And anytime. So, and for all those people who, this is your first time watching, thank you very much for showing up wherever you may be around the world. I really appreciate it. Big time. So, Heidi. Hey.
What's shaking bacon?
Man, right now the room. Man, I'm sweating out here. I got a jacket on, and it's like, yeah, I'm definitely staying home tomorrow. So, all right.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Heidi, go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Okie dokie. Let me roll out the purple carpet here. I guess to let everybody know, personally, I'm someone who has been there, seen that experience, freaked out, found some answers, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm hoping to help others do the same thing and understand this crazy world of ours, because I am part of the Paranormal Central team now.
Yes, absolutely.
So, if you guys want some advice on anything from angels to aliens, or you want to share your stories, pictures, events, please feel free to write me at oddadvicehh@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. So,
okay.
Boy, you're really talking it up there, Jeff. That's some heavy stuff.
Yeah. I'm just throwing this out and see if maybe it will click with other people. And I'm thinking out of the box. That's what I'm doing.
I'd say, just my 2 cents. I think your son's got a gift too. I'm with your emerald there on that.
Right.
I truly do. I mean, it's true. It's like a lot of kids do see things, but to have the name and so much else going on. I mean, that just really sounds like he's in touch with something deeper.
Right. And I think maybe this chemical is the reaction and is opening up something. I don't know. And again, this is just a theory of mine, and I'm throwing it out there because I haven't heard anybody else come up with another theory. And if you have one, by all means, let me know about it, because I want to see what's going on and see if maybe we can figure this out. Because night terrors, I mean, come on, So okay, all right. Heidi sent me over some photographs, and we also sent them over to the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com. They're up on the homepage. You can view them there, and we're going to view them here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pull them up. Let me go to the screen.
Indeed. I also placed, there's a video of this first UFO sighting. We're going to touch base on more recent UFO sightings. A triangular-shaped UFO craft was videotaped and photographed by Billy Martinez in San Antonio, Texas, January 17th of this year. It's a pretty wild-looking thing. I mean, I don't know. If you see the video, it's really fantastic, but I also have a still there of it. There you go. This is what Billy Martinez said. He said, "This definitely is a no-fly zone craft, had no running lights, and was completely black. Triangular-shaped craft was about 10, maybe 15 feet in height. The consistent, steady lights are consistent with known ET craft." I don't know what that means. But lights do not alternate from color. They're ultraviolet, which is why to the naked eye they reflected no light. Only once recorded are you able to see light. ET craft made absolutely zero noise. Those are his exact words. So, wow. I mean, absolutely, it's just fantastic.
And the video link is on artbell.com.
Yeah.
It's there. So if you guys want to take a look at that particular shot, and what I have up right now, I guess it's a snapshot of what you're talking about, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, January 17th. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I really, really love that. People are keeping their eyes on the sky and are taking it upon themselves to report these things, because it really helps us who haven't witnessed these things, to get a good look at what's being observed. I mean, this is San Antonio. This is no small city.
Right.
This is a pretty big city, and it's just like, wow. I would be really surprised to not ever hear of somebody reporting having seen this as well, because it sounds like it was a pretty fantastic sighting.
Right.
So,
very cool.
But I don't have the time. He did not put a time on when this took place.
Okay.
But pretty interesting. Now, this next one is just, wow. It's pretty darn cool. It was a sighting over, I don't know how to pronounce this, Avari, Brazil, January 31st of this year. Now, this is really, I don't know why, but when I look at this thing, it reminds me of
the Death Star.
An orb. Like the ghost orbs, because it's got like this opening at one end.
Yeah.
When you look at the shots are a little bit closer, but I'm going to read what this person. There's no name that I could find connected to these photographs, but when I read this here to you, you'll get a good idea of what this person experienced. This is early January 2015. These are some pictures I sent to MUFON. This object photographed January 31st. Unlike the last time, I don't know what they mean by this, unlike last time, this time I had 3 more witnesses observe the object move at high altitude and high speed in front of us. The phenomenon moved around for 1 minute and 20 seconds until it disappeared. I took some pictures of the object. Object 7 with the zoom lens at maximum position of 300 millimeters. only those coconut trees, which I don't see, I did not find those photographs. Those coconut trees are to give the reference of the object distance to the ground where it went. Do you think I should send these photos to MUFON? I did all the photos in raw high resolution. Pretty fantastic. If you guys have...
I'm looking at it right now, and there's a hole in this frickin' thing. All right?
Yeah.
So as an investigator, the first thing that comes to mind, it's a frickin' balloon. Wait a minute. The balloon has a hole in it. All right?
Yeah.
So, okay, what kind of a balloon is this? Do they make balloons with holes in them? I'm aware of all kinds of balloons, but why would a balloon be made with a hole in it? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm thinking that's not a balloon. Now, the next question is, all right, let's take it even further. What do you think it is? I mean, is this up in the atmosphere? Is it like below the clouds? I mean, do we know the size of this thing?
We do not.
Wow.
This is such a fresh sighting. It hasn't really been investigated fully yet. This is just, I love it. It's like throw it out there, put it on the web,
Yep.
get people to analyze and go through it themselves. And now we're putting, all of your listeners on to this as well. Because, boy, are people resourceful. I love the public when they're interested, how they'll just put it through filters and measurements and whatnot. If somebody can find the photos that have these coconut trees that they're referring to, we might get a better understanding about the size, the distance, and all of that. Now, as you click through the photos, it shows the trajectory of this object as well. I think this is probably what they're speaking of, but with the coconut trees. But, I mean, the object's not in the picture, so it's like,
It's
how
not.
does that help?
Okay. I was going, I can't see it. I can't see it. So, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that thing is. And again, we don't know how high it's, we don't know how high it is. So that's just that's just very cool looking. So awesome.
Right.
Right on.
Right. Very cool. I just dug this one. I mean, when you look at some of the orb photographs of ghost orb photos, some people refer to like this little black spot that you'll see in ghost orbs as having like a mouth, like it's alive.
Okay.
Maybe I'll focus on that for next week to look into ghost orbs and the mouths that people refer to. But, I mean, this thing is just so creepy. I don't think I've ever seen a UFO.
I have never seen something like that.
Like that.
Yeah, right away, I thought it was the whatchamacallit from Star Wars. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm not a big time Star Wars freak, guys, but you know what I'm talking. Not the.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know the name either,
exactly.
Very cool.
So,
I just
cool.
thought this was awesome.
Right on. So.
But now we're going to tiptoe on over into the paranormal because we love that stuff too.
Yes.
So now to send a chill down your spine. Okay, I love when regular everyday people are just snapping shots and they go back, sooner or later, and they find something peculiar in their photos. And the one that you're showing there is interesting. It's like, is this a double exposure? Why is everything else in focus? But it looks like this kid's soul is kind of backing out.
Wow.
It's so different.
Yeah, I mean, why not all of the other kids, but just this particular one? Good question.
Right.
Good question.
Right. And you can see the color too, But the kid, the spirit kid, doesn't have a shirt on. When you look at that, you could see flesh color. To me, that's what I see, anyways.
Yeah, I see possibly a white T-shirt, but I'm not sure. And yeah, I see the bare arm on the right hand side of his arm, but yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Huh.
Right.
Cool.
I dig this. I dig this kind of stuff. It's so freaky and so surreal and so real. So I had to share that one.
Awesome.
And I found a couple other ones.
Okay.
There is, let's see which one you're going to pull up.
The one in the gymnasium.
Okay. That one, that's just so odd to me because it looks like a team of people watching the game. I don't know, but it looks like I don't know. It looks almost like a group picture, of workers at a steel mill or something, or they're watching the game on the basketball court. I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Freaky.
Oh, I see it, and it's up there on the bleachers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just awesome.
Wow.
And again, these are just these random shots that somebody took. It's just like, whoa, what's over there?
Right.
You know, and why just that one corner?
Wow.
You know, why aren't the stands full?
Right. That's cool.
To be cheered on from the afterlife, I think that would be kind of awesome. But
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't notice that up there until you circled it, and I'm going, whoa. So, right on.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, hold on. I have experienced that where I've taken a picture and it's like, whoa, what's that?
Right.
But it's a freaky occurrence. There's a couple other pictures. I don't know which one you're going to pull up.
I'm going to show up the person with the UFO and the kid. That's the UFO and the kid looking at the UFO with the light.
Oh, that one's just for fun.
God, that looks like my Christian. I swear that's Christian. I swear it is.
I thought that was an awesome picture. I thought I'd throw that in there for a little bit of humor.
Sure.
Shows a sign of wonder and possibilities that are out there. And it just lines up so perfectly. I just love that. I was like, how simple.
Right. You know, somebody noticed it and decided to draw some UFO nut, man. Let me tell you, that's what he was.
Yeah, I love it. But
very cool.
that was just for fun. There's a couple other ghost ones there. You have them.
You know what? You said I only got 9.
Oh gosh, so you didn't get these other 2.
No, I only got 9.
That's so bizarre because it shows they went to you. Darn it all.
Really?
Well, that sucks.
No, I only got 9. 8 and 9. That's it. So,
well,
I talk about it because they're on the Art Bell website, so it's okay.
Indeed. Oh, I had a couple of really good creepy ones. You know what I wanted to tell you about too, Jeff? This is funny. You know, I get pictures sent to me sometimes that are just like, "Don't you see it?" I'm like, "No, I really don't see it. I don't see what you're speaking of. You know, I don't see the ghost. I don't see the shadow person. I don't see the hat man." But I got a really, really interesting photo shown to me on somebody's cell phone. And they were just like, "Oh, you're into this stuff. You're an expert. Let me show you this picture. It's the most incredible picture I've ever seen of a ghost." But they show me this picture. Somebody's hanging out on their couch talking. And lo and behold, here is what looks like a doll floating like between 2 people talking. And I'm like, what? You know, it's so funny, but when you've been in this business for a long time, you just know something isn't right. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's just too perfect. I've never seen a picture like that. I don't know. I mean, is that Annabelle? I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, no. There's got to be a real explanation for this. I'm like, no. They took this picture and they had no idea, what this was. And I'm like, that's a doll. I mean, it's so clear. And I'm Googling and I'm looking around and I'm like, there are apps out there, people, that could be snuck on your phone where you'll take a picture.
Yes.
And a ghostly like image will show up in your picture, and you will think, "OMG, I had a ghost on my phone."
And I've actually had a couple of those apps on my iPhone, and several of the networks would call me from Fresno, and like NBC or ABC, and they'd call me and say, "Hey, somebody just sent us this picture. Can you look at it and tell us what you think?" Before they run it on the air, and then right away I say, "Oh my God, it's a freaking app," and then I have it. So I would take a snapshot of that and I would send it to them, and they would go, "Oh, okay, thank you." So it's kind of cool that they're sending me stuff. It's been a while since they've done that, but nowadays you can do a lot of stuff on computers. You can. So we don't know what's real and not anymore. The only way I would take something into consideration is if I knew the person personally. And then coming from that person, then I can look at them and say, "Okay, look at me. Are you bullshitting me on this?" And to me, that's the only way I can tell if somebody if it's real or not. Because there are a lot of people out there who want to make videos, put them on YouTube, and it's all about making money now. And that goes for Bigfoot. It's how many views can you get?
Right.
and to make money. That's what it is.
It is. It's sad, and it is confusing for people who really may be curious and interested and have their minds suddenly open to the possibilities, only to find it's a prank, it's a fake. I mean, gosh, how painful. And I'm just like, again, the season die, I'm like, but I didn't know about these apps. I was a little bit behind on that. I'm like, I said, this is not real. It just cannot be real.
Right.
And for this person to not know, I'm like, oh, somebody snuck an app on their phone and they didn't know it.
Right.
I mean, that's It's just so silly, but I had a good chuckle with that, and the person, did too. This is a friend of a friend, and I'm like, check their phone out and see if they snap another picture and it happens again. This is such a joke on them.
Right.
So pretty funny.
Wow,
Pretty funny stuff.
that's kind of cold-blooded too, because they know that you're serious about what you do, and they're just being stupid. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Okay.
But I wanted to get to. I got a really cool email that was sent my way. I try not to read too far ahead when I get these emails of people's stories. That I welcome everybody. Feel free to write me your stories, things that you've experienced. If you have questions about anything out of the ordinary, from aliens to angels, we'll cover it on here. But so I'd like to keep it raw. I'm like, I'll just touch a little bit and look around, and I'm like, I want to say this for the show.
Right.
But I got a cool email here sent to me. I want to read to you guys. It says, Dear Heidi, I want to tell you about my experience. When my son was 19 years old, he was very addicted to drugs and Dungeons and Dragons, and generally hanging out with dopers. His attitude toward his future was bad, and he was very nasty to everyone. Not unusual, I guess, for late teens 15 years ago, but very upsetting to his dad and me and his older brother. I went into his room one early evening to turn off lights, TV, when he had left in a rage about something. And the room was covered with big carpenter ants, and it was very cold in the room. Ants were all over his walls and surfaces, and I thought, this is not normal. Even out here in the forest, in the country, I knew I was in the presence of evil, real, true evil. I immediately said, no, you will not take this boy. I and my angels will fight you. I called all the angels and Jesus to fill this space with the light of true love. I then salted the perimeter of the house outside, calling for blessings on all who live here. A thunderstorm came up from nowhere. I rushed into his room and just prayed. One giant lightning strike, me praying, half cursing. I opened my eyes, and all the ants were gone. There was calmness now in the room. The boy is now a man, a fine, young Christian man. No drugs, works in a high-paid trade job, and maybe soon to marry. No one knows about this experience, but I wanted to tell you. Wow. Evil is real, but so is the grace of the Lord. Just ask for it. Yep. Thank you, M. Woo!
It works, guys. It works. I mean, now, Emerald, we were talking about this last night. Excuse me. Emerald thinks it's mind power, right?
The whole what I was saying about like religion and when there's something you're trying. Okay, my thing is if there's something like in your house or something, and it's totally a battle of will. And by all means, I'm not knocking religion, but if there was something in my house, it would be my will on its own. For those who do follow religion, Buddhism, anything at all, Catholic, the whole Jesus thing, I totally agree with, because you're putting your will into that. So what your will, it's still your will, but that's just grounding it for you. So it's that whole belief system. That's what you're using against whatever you're trying to get rid of.
Okay.
That's just my take on it.
Well, it's funny because I do tell people from my perspective, I tell people first it starts with having no doubts about what it is, who you are and what you believe in to take these things on. So, calling on the higher power is what I know works for taking out the big baddies. But first, in order for the higher power to work, you cannot have shaky grounds on where you stand. So,
no, you have to completely believe in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And wow, what an interesting story, though. This sounds like something out of a horror movie.
I mean, that's the stuff that we've been talking about here. How to get rid of evil, and we've told people how to do it here, and by saying certain words and phrases, and it works every freaking time. It does.
It does.
So yeah.
Oh, what a weakness, though, that of patterns that I see, though, with people, kids, whatever, having an addiction to drugs. And what is with Dungeons and Dragons? I don't know what it is, but I have heard this before. It's like, is it that dark of a thing to have been involved in? Is it now World of Warcraft?
I wouldn't know, but Emerald would, I think.
It's basically like a role playing game, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it for sure. But I'm like, what is?
Well, there's
what is it with this?
I don't know if it's like the game itself. I think how much people put into it, because I've seen people who are totally into it, and there's different races, like very dark characters in the game, and I think anything like, not like that, but like the whole belief thing, you could put so much belief into something and it'll manifest, type of thing, like an invitation.
It almost seems like, I knew grown men and women, 50s, literally having a group of people rent boats that go down the Mississippi, houseboats, whatever, and having others from across the country join them on the boat. And they would all be in character the entire trip for their character, Dungeons and Dragons or whatever game that they're involved in. It's deep.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, so that's that I have no clue. So.
Yeah,
wow.
Oh my gosh, I was really shocked. One of my favorite things to go to are sci-fi conventions. I used to lecture at a lot of them, and oh my gosh, I swear to God, Jeff, they're more open-minded than UFO conferences are.
you know what? I think
some of them I've gone to and spoken at. It's
right.
like. But the sci-fi people are like, yeah, dude, say it.
That's funny, and that's funny that you say that. Well, I'll tell everybody we're going to be at one next month, and I'll tell everybody. But
I'm so jealous.
So that's awesome. So all right, what else you got?
I miss them. I don't know if you have time for another, or should we cut it? Or
no, you got one more. Go for it.
One more. Okay, all right.
I don't speak.
Okay, this is a short one. It says, Dear Heidi, I have a story that maybe you can shed some light on for me. Okay. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I talked to him about a thing I saw when I was about 11 or 12 years old. It was a man wearing a brimmed hat. Oh, great. Here we go. I wasn't awoken by him or anything, but I was just about to go to sleep. He approached the base of my bed. He may have had a trench coat on, but it was hard to tell. He had reddish eyes, but weren't glowing. He stood at the base of my bed and leaned in and stared for a few minutes. I thought it may be one of my brothers playing games with me. Why do people always think it's their siblings?
Right.
It's so funny. This is like a common theme. How cruel.
Right.
That was one of my brothers playing a game with me. I called out my brother's name and nothing. After a couple more minutes, he just walked away slowly. In the middle of my telling my friend this, he stopped me and said I was scaring the crap out of him. He then said, do you have any idea of what you're explaining to me? It's the Hat Man. I didn't know anything about it till he mentioned it. Thanks for reading this.
Wow.
Okay. That was a nice little share. That was
more people, the more we get this out there, people will come forward saying, you know what, I saw exactly the same thing. And that's what we're all about here. We want people to open up and tell us their stories, because this stuff is happening everywhere, even to ordinary people. All right, people who don't listen to paranormal stuff and who are their neighbor next door. This stuff is happening to them, and hopefully the word will get out, and we can assist them however we can, either by notifying Heidi or listening to this show, and we'll tell you, on how to get rid of the evil. So.
And what's amazing to me too, it's these people who don't think they have anything paranormal in their lives until they hear about it from somebody else that points them in the right direction. And they're like, I thought I was dreaming. Nope, dude, here's a name for it. Right. But, I want to let people know, too, we cover more than just, I'm known for the Shadow People, Hat Man stuff. But, send me your angel, your Jesus encounter. Send it all. Aliens, the whole shebang. We love this stuff.
Gnomes, fairies, all that type of stuff. People are witnessing these things. And, So, if you have that story, and, please don't make it up. Send us what you've actually witnessed, and we want to read about it. We do.
Oh yeah, so. And pictures, drawings.
Oh yeah.
Let's
my God.
See it all. I mean, I am so open. I dig it, but I love the Shadow Hat Man stuff too. Right. So don't slow down with that. I'll keep them coming and read them off as I get them. So I appreciate that. So My
Right on.
goodness. But, yeah, that was, my goodness. I have so many emails. I could just keep going on and on and on, Jeff, but.
I know. Well, one of these days, hopefully, it will be a daily thing. We'll see what happens. So.
Oh, fingers crossed.
So, fingers crossed. So, all right, Heidi, thank you very much. And
right.
We'll talk to you next week, okay?
All right, you take care now.
See ya.
Okay, bye-bye,
bye.
Emerald, too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Heidi Hollis. Very popular book, The Hat Man. It actually made it to one very, very high on the bestsellers list for paranormal books. So she is really well known on that book. So, all right, let's continue on. We have about 15 minutes left. Let's hope I can continue on and not fall down and complete, because right now I don't feel so good at all. So let's continue on. The Super Bowl a couple weeks ago. I tried to see if the Katy Perry halftime show was going to be this halftime show that I thought it was going to be, with UFOs and symbolisms and all that kind of stuff. Sort of kind of did. It was. And there are YouTube videos out there with people really, really picking apart, her 12 minutes on stage and all that kind of stuff. Katy Perry uses a lot of symbols, and I'm going to say it again. She's into the Egyptian symbols, big time. ISIS, all that kind of stuff. You remember when the first time, when at the Super Bowl, when she actually came out on top of that big lion or tiger, or whatever it was, and she was on top? Excuse me. I am going to show you a picture right now, and you tell me what you think about this picture. All right, there it is. Okay, what you see here is obviously Katy Perry on the right, and on the left you have a similar carved out symbol that was probably found somewhere in Egypt. I don't know exactly where, but man, that looks really close to be the same. Her dark horse, this is Roar, one of her songs. And if you pay attention, and I told you guys to write down what you thought a lot of the things were, that were going on around her, like the checkered board that she was on for the chess. They say that is very Illuminati-ish. You see that everywhere when there's Illuminati symbolisms. You see the checkered board, and obviously she used that. Now, I'm sure there's other stuff in there as well, and I'm not going to talk about the whole video, but there are YouTubes. If you Google it, there are people who actually have done that for you. Some of them are really outrageous and going, come on, really? But stuff like this, the Tiger and Katy Perry and then ISIS, and again, she uses this a lot in a lot of her videos, like she's trying to tell us something. So go Google Katy Perry and the halftime show, and see what you can pull up and see what people are actually saying, because like tonight, the Grammys are tonight, and I don't know if she's performing. I know Madonna is. I wonder if Madonna is going to do another, one of her songs. 'Cause at the Super Bowl, Madonna did a couple years ago, way Illuminati. I mean, it was triangle everywhere. Excuse me, and it was crazy. So the stuff is real. It's when we say Illuminati, New World Order, we're not making this stuff up, you guys. It's actually there. It's real. These artists who are selling their soul to be the number one artist in the world, and they will do anything and everything to make that happen. And even Katy Perry came out and said, "I sold my soul to the devil." And now, was she screwing around and just pretending? Well, if you look at all her videos and just watch her on her concert tours, and she uses all the stuff we talk about here, the Egyptians and symbols, a triangle, Illuminati, all-seeing eye. It's all there, and it's easy to look up. So you guys if you don't believe me, go and pull this stuff up and do your own research. All right, and it's on the internet, and a lot of people say, well, if it's on the internet, it's not real. Well, when people dissect videos like from Katy Perry and Madonna, they'll get a snapshot of a particular video, and they'll go look, and they'll find, a symbol that was used in Egyptian back in the days, and then just like this, if this doesn't say it's dead on, it is. It's dead freaking on. So, yeah, she's pretty much sold her soul, and that's too bad. And let me tell you something. She is the #1 artist of all time, outdoing Michael Jackson for #1 singles on an album. She blew Michael Jackson away. Katy Perry is now the #1 artist in the world for doing that. So take that, all right? And, a lot of people listen to her music. It's bubblegum music. It's catchy. I have some of that stuff on my iPhone, and I listen to it. It's freaking catchy. But listen to the lyrics and listen to the videos and what she places in there. So we have Charles here. Charles, start calling. Hold on. Good, because he can save me on. Hold on, Charles. We'll get you on. Hold on, Charles. Hold on.
You're good.
Charles.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you for calling in to save my voice.
Yes. I was going to give you some information that'll help your emeralds feeling bad. Go to your Rite Aid or Walgreens and get you some vitamin C throat lozenges. Halls makes one, and there's 2 or 3, and they'll probably have a store brand. But they're vitamin C lozenges. They don't have a whole lot, but by putting it in your mouth, it'll topically treat your throat and larynx, and that will help alleviate that along with taking some. But doing that will help a whole lot.
Okay.
Now, some of the medicines, I told you the other day about a lot of the anti-fever medicines, and then I didn't know you all had gone to the cold medicines. Those are anti-cholinogenic medicines, and that removes some of your neurotransmitters, and that's what affects your brain functioning. They just came out with a bunch of information in the past 2 weeks about long-term use of antihistamines and the anticholinergic medicines linked to Alzheimer's. So they do have a big effect on your brain and brain functioning.
Great.
And they have, that's a class of drugs that acts like belladonna. And see, people used to take belladonna and nightshade to have visions. That was one of the drugs that they would take in the past. And I think it's just criminal. They put them in children's medicine.
Right.
And don't have that. And the warning was not even on the box about the seizures, was it?
Wow. And that's something where you say it's not on the box, but you have
it's probably not. It probably isn't.
And, it isn't.
Black box.
Right. It isn't, and you have to look it up on the internet in order to really find out what's in that medicine. Yeah.
And see, go ahead.
No, you're right. No, go ahead.
One of the things about it too, kids' metabolism is so different than an adult. You were talking about the levels in their body. They're going to process some drugs a lot faster and chemicals, and they're going to be gone and not even affect them. Whereas other ones, they might have a 10 times longer half-life in the body with a child. So that puts them at much, much more of a risk.
Right.
And then you're already jeopardized by having a fever anyway.
Right.
And then your system, your liver and kidneys are going to be working differently, and that's going to load up. But they did use nightshade, which is where belladonna and the belladonna-type drugs, they're all anticholinergic, came from. That was one of the ways they would make drinks and use that when they were having their vision quest. And
wow.
You've heard of people using morning glory seeds to do it. That does the same thing. But those are in most of the allergy medicines. The other one that is a big culprit is Singulair, is especially the generic, and they don't know why the generic does it much worse than the name brand. It can cause severe hallucinations, aggressive behavior, and almost suicidal behavior in children, much more so than adults. Just 1 or 2 doses can. And it really started popping up when the generic came out. Huh. Maybe they don't clean almost all these things are made with a fungal fermentation process. That's the way a lot of the drugs are made now. And if they don't clean the batch well, they might have some analogs of the fungus in it or some proteins that cause weird situations. But no, since you and I talked a couple of weeks ago about said event, I've had so many weird things happening with my phone, my internet, and even the clock in my house is not powered. It's not plugged in the wall. It's battery powered. Uh-huh. It's running perfectly, not losing time. Yet it lost 30 minutes last night.
Huh.
It was right when I went to bed, and when I got up, the clock was off 30 minutes.
That's what you get for calling me.
Yeah, but I still, I think that when we talked about that situation, I think ears got busy, and it might be circumvented, or I think you'll hear an announcement in the next few days about it being subverted. I really do.
About what now?
We talked about, the situation I had, the dream I had.
Oh, right. Huh.
And I once we talked, and
well, spill it, Charles, spill it right now. Tell everybody what you think is going to happen.
I think that the tunnel, or a major underwater tunnel, which could be Chesapeake Bay, one of the ones in Canada, or maybe even in Japan, but more likely the channel is going to be attacked by terrorists. I think that's that, and I think it's going to be on one of those dates that Dr. Turi came up with. And I don't know if he realized that, but I had a dream that gave indications of a underwater event, and that would really, really affect a huge number of people. Psychologically, it would be so damaging.
So you're talking a nuclear blast, right?
Yeah. That's the only thing that could wreak the havoc that I saw in the dream. There's nothing else that's strong enough that we know of.
Right.
It would have to be something beyond that, even that technology. And I think that is what is since with the last video, we know now that all they're concerned about is the horrific theatrics.
Right.
And that would be the theatrics that would do it all. And wait till the next video that they release. It will have something much worse than the burning. They will impale on the next video.
Oh boy.
The person. Yeah. Because people are already calling over in those countries for Ottoman punishment, which is impaling. And
well,
if that happens,
yeah, let's hope you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
That's what's going to be that because they're already showing they're wanting to kick it up.
Right.
And I think that's what they'll do. And if the churches and the people of America don't do something, then they deserve whatever they get. If that does not put the communication and fear of God, of ungod in them, and I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to tell you a little refinement on what to say to get evil things away. My grandmother was very, 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 very mystical, and saw and heard many stories of things she did. But what she always said, she would just go up to things. There were apparitions on the farm, and when I called the first time I told you about a huge number of events that happened on that particular land. She'd walk up to whatever the apparition was. One time there was this little white light that came down from the sky, and everybody said they thought it was baby. It was floating about 4 feet off the ground. She went out and talked to it, and she said, "What in Jesus' name are you doing here, and what right do you have to be here, and what is your work?" And if they're not up to no good, they go away instantly.
So she reminds me of Alan, because Alan can just walk up, and the evil will pretty much pinpoint him out from other people, and so I see where you're going with that.
And just ask them what they're doing, and if they're not here for good, they fly. They go away quickly. Is Alan doing any better?
He is staying off of Facebook. I know he's just trying to recoup now. He's resting. I don't know actually.
He's on the chat tonight.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's cool. Because last week he wasn't on the chat, so this time he is. So that's good. So that if he's on the chat,
that means
yeah,
his fingers are working, and so he's eager. Oh, another thing I meant to tell you. I told you about the blue light also triggering seizures. A very simple thing you can do that will help a lot, and you can find out real quickly if that's it. A pair of, the amber safety glasses, the yellow safety glasses will block blue light. You can have your son put those on in the evening, maybe 2 hours before he's going to go to bed, and he can play his games with the yellow safety glasses on. Like they have the lenses like shooting glasses.
Right.
And then even wear those in bed. Just go to Home Depot or somewhere and you can get them for $2 or $3. Just get this. They have large size and then medium small. He'd probably wear medium small at his age.
Right.
And just kind of make it like a game that he's using that to watch his games, because it gives you better, a sharper contrast. And then to try sleeping in them. I started sleeping in them because any light at all wakes me up, and if light will go through your eyelids being closed, it will go through there, and if there's any blue light in the component, it will wake you up. So I had a pair of that, and I thought, well, I know the blue light helps a lot. If you put the app on your computer or tablet or whatever, you don't get wound up, and you can go to sleep easily at night. Well, once I put the blue blocking sunglasses or safety glasses on, I go to sleep. I can't count from 100 to 98 sleep. I mean, you just and I sleep in a real dark room, but there was still enough light coming in to do that, and it just allows melatonin to pop forth. And if you really had a bad day, put them on for a couple hours before, and your melatonin level will start coming out. You quit suppressing it; it comes out. You calm down, but definitely get you some of the vitamin C lozenges.
Okay.
And if you'll just keep those in your mouth, you and Emerald both do this. Keep them in there about every hour, and that will just do wonders.
Okay.
Another thing for anybody out there that wants to know when their kids have a fever and something they can do. First off, the fever really is a mode for getting your antibodies up and fighting off the infection or whatever. You just don't want it to get extraordinarily high.
Right, and my wife Cheryl, she doesn't give medicine just because we have a fever. She waits unless it goes up a high past 102 or something like that. Then she'll give them medicine. But otherwise, that's how your body fights off whatever disease is in it.
The sweat lodges are used and everything. The sweats are used in the Indian culture to kill things. The heat does. But one thing you can do, the best thing to normalize your temperature and help you too, go buy a jar of powdered vitamin C. You can go to a vitamin shop. You have them out there. You have them everywhere. And that's the best place to get it. A good fair price, or go to Puritan Pride.
I believe we have some in our cupboard.
Just take about 1 gram of vitamin C in some distilled water. Do that. And if it's it's always good to keep some distilled water around. When you're running a fever or anything, if you'll drink distilled water and nothing but distilled while you're going through that crisis, see, distilled water doesn't have any minerals. It doesn't have any chlorine, fluoride, anything in it whatsoever. All it is water. Water is the universal solvent. So it will go in, and its covalent bonds will pull toxins or anything that's going on in your body at that time, and the free radicals, it'll help empty them. So just a little cocktail of about 8 ounces of that about every hour. Oh, my God. Your temperature will start normalizing, but it won't slam it like aspirin. Right. It'll get it down to a safe level, maybe 100, 101 or something like that, where you can still make antibodies, but not go into convulsions.
Right.
And do that. Okay. But I'm glad you found that out about those medicines. People routinely take them.
Yeah, well, it's a theory right now.
It's not. That's definitely what's doing it.
You think so?
Because if he was taking those things, yeah.
Okay. Well,
they're just they will cause Rice syndrome, and what's happening is almost the same as Rice syndrome, which is what they thought the girl in The Exorcist had. And if you take aspirin with chicken pox or viremia, it can cause that in a young adult, and it can even cause it in full-fledged adults if they've got a bad enough virus overload. Huh. But those things happen, and they're potent drugs.
Right. Right.
You can look up belladonna and what they used it for in the past, and they're getting the same kind of vision quest with this. But y'all keep up the good work. The show's getting better and better and better and better. And have you noticed how peaceful the network is now?
And let's just leave it at that. You're talking about the Dark Matter Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a colonic.
I didn't say that. Thank you, Charles, for coming on and giving. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
And you all get well.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Emerald. Bye.
You know who he was talking about, right? Hold on. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. And for all those who follow Art Bell and Dark Matter, they were going through something here just recently, like a week ago. And so, okay. All right, let's continue on. TV show. We've already shot the first episode, and I've already called the KMPH Studios, the Fox Network here in Fresno, and I have a meeting with them, I think, on Thursday. I'm hoping that it's going to be Thursday, and we're going to take that first episode, and we're going to let them watch it and get their 2 cents on it and see what they think. Because, I mean, we're ready. We're starting to shoot other episodes. We go out to different spots, and the production crew will follow us and take some video. So it's getting there, and I think that I'm hoping at the end of this month, beginning of March, we're going to air the first episode. Excuse me. And we'll see what happens. I can't wait. It's exciting. I can't wait to see what these guys do as far as edit it up and add graphics and do all that kind of stuff. I'm really looking forward to that. So, all right. I have one picture that I want to show you that was on Facebook that I think is really cool. And let me find it for you. It is right there. Okay. Bigfoot investigators, when they go up to the mountains, what we do is we try to find weird stuff. All right. This is weird. All right. This is a tree. And look at how it's twisted. Okay. What could have twisted that right there? I have had several people, when I was looking at this particular picture on somebody's wall, they said, wow, for those who are investigators in Bigfoot, they know that Bigfoots like to twist trees like this. Could a human being do that? Look at it and say, and think about that. Could a human being take that tree and twist it like that? Could a storm come in and take that tree and twist it like that? A tornado, could it twist like that? I mean, look around though. You don't see any other trees or any brush that's down on the ground like a tornado or a massive hurricane came in. It's just that one tree. And look now, could that have happened naturally? I don't know. But wow, something twisted that sucker. And in order to have that type of power and height to do that, we're talking massive. These are the type of things people are finding up in the mountains, up in the forest. Trees that are twisted like this, trees that are turned upside down and poked in the ground with the roots pointing up. Big logs that are moved from one side of the dirt road into the middle, like what happened to us. When you guys are out in the forest or at campsites, don't think that Bigfoots are way up, 10,000 feet elevation, because they're not. They are right there on the campsites with you guys. They are down here at the valley floor, and now it's time to look for the signs. You need to really look for the signs. Missing animals, missing fruit, trees that are absolutely pushed over like this or twisted, tree limbs that are picked up and piled up together in between other trees that you're going, why would a human being do this? This doesn't make any sense. This is the sign. Hold on. Sorry. This is a sign of very large animals that we have up in the forest, man. And we have, those Bigfoots are doing this. Whether you believe in Bigfoots or not, I really don't care, okay? Because we are giving you the best stuff on them. Alan and I and our team, we're going to get you the best video footage or best picture. It's the last thing we do, all right? And, if our government is shooting them right now because they're coming down too close, then you need to be pissed off at the government, all right? People say that they're more human than animal. They walk on two legs, their facial expression looks like a freaking person, a human being. The way the hair is braided on it, it's just something is telling me that these things are more human than animal. And that's why when we got our DNA checked, it came back human. So that pretty much happens to all of the DNA out there. Some of it is contaminated, but if you're really careful, like Mickey was when he took the DNA off my windows, he was really careful, and it came back human. So watch the signs. If you live on the foothills, watch the signs. Trust me, look for footprints, man. If you're out walking around and there's a riverbed, a canal, those are the highways for Bigfoots. All right, even high electricity towers, those are also highways for Bigfoot. And also old train railroads are also highways for Bigfoot. So take all that into consideration if you live in a location and some funny stuff is happening to you. All the stuff that we talk about tonight, see if any of that fits. All right? Because they're down here on the valley floor in Fresno, California. I mean, they're not far from my house at all. At all. So, yeah. I don't know what else to tell you guys, because the stuff that's happening to us right now, I can't wait to go to Keith's house and set up shop, man, because it's calls like that I'm hoping is going to keep you guys coming back, and I'm going to tell you what we do. I'm going to show you what we do. I'm going to show you the towers. I'm going to show you me climbing trees and setting up game cams, because that's the way I work. And even Mickey Burrell, the forensic expert who was here a couple weeks ago, he was already coming out with plans on how to set up traps. And when I say traps, you can't trap a Bigfoot, all right? That's absolutely ludicrous. But you can set up food and other stuff like that where if they take it, they can leave possibly hair, fingerprints, stuff like that. And Mickey has some ideas. So, thank God that we got Mickey on our side, because the windows pretty much convinced him that there are Bigfoots up in the mountains. It's pretty much given for him now. So every time we go up, he calls me, and if he can go. Unfortunately, a lot of times he's working, and he's a law enforcement, and soon things are going to happen soon, and I can't wait. Also, if you don't know, Art Bell is returning to the airwaves in July. He will be broadcasting his show on the Dark Matter Network. I believe it's from 9 to 12, 5 days a week. And it's going to be free if I'm not mistaken, if you watch it, or listen to it live type of deal. I plan to stick around, and as a matter of fact, Art and Keith, if you're listening, we would like to be part of Art's coming back. And I think I already sent Art a memo or an email or text on what if we can, the show that we want to do. So let me know. I'm excited because, Art Bell was there in L.A. when I was in L.A., and I would turn on Coast to Coast at 10 o'clock and get the shit scared out of me. Beep. The guy's good. Hey. And, I used to tape, I've said this before, but how I used to tape, because I used to fall asleep, unfortunately, because I had to go to work the next day. So how do you tape, a 4-hour show, a 5-hour show? I used to have a VCR, and I used to get the VCR tapes, and I used to plug in the audio into the input of the VCR, and I used to record the audio all night for 6 hours. And you can do that because you can change the ELP, SP, or whatever, and that's how I used to record, Art Bell. I used to have, CDs, or not CDs, VHS tapes. Because, obviously, I had to get up and go to work, so I would doze off. But, the next day, I can play the VCR tape and listen.
You're such a groupie.
Shut up. So I am excited. Everybody is excited for him to come back. He has some surprises. I have no clue what those surprises are. And he has a like page. Go and like his page. And he basically is telling everybody little by little what his surprises are going to be. I still don't know exactly what he has in mind. Hopefully Keith will tell me. But I can't wait. And that's going to be in July, guys.
That's going to be so cool.
That's going to be so cool. So, yeah. So Keith and I need to talk a little bit. And hopefully we can make something cool happen. But otherwise, so we got, 22 minutes left. And I'm looking at my paper. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. Let me think. Let me look here. Yeah, because like I said, my voice is going out. I'm coughing like a madman. Keith, can we call it early?
Yeah.
Okay. Keith from Dark Matter said yes, we can go ahead and call it because I have to. I'm totally out of it right
dying.
now. Huh?
You're dying.
I'm dying over here. So, all right. I appreciate everybody sticking around, and if this is your first time listening, I hope it's not your last. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez with Paranormal Central and Emerald Bonilla out there.
Hi, everybody.
And Alan Thomas at home. Get your ass over here fast, buddy.
Feel better.
We'll see you guys next week, all right? Bye.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas, broadcasting worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and on artbell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies. And we hope you witness something you cannot explain.
I'm looking for you. You're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I